My balls like I'm back for money. Hello, everybody. good evening to Tottenham Tantrum Gold. Tonight we're doing something a bit special. We're having sort of a roundup of the non-transfer news of players that Tottenham are not going for players that Tottenham could not be bothered to go for, and we're also going to try to understand why Levy's such a tight ass. So that's all to come. Beside me is my new co-host. He's the man. He's with me on every stream. He is the pillar of this channel. He is ready. He is the Bill Nick to this channel, like the Bill Nick is to Tottenham Hotspur. He's my mate. He's your mate. It's Mr. Coover 99, and can I just say he's a proper gent at that too. Good evening, Coov. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm really well, thank you, Dom. I love the build-up, but please don't compare me to the great Bill Nick. I definitely don't deserve that.
Well, you are to us in this channel, and that's how we see you.
I'll settle for being an avid Levy outer.
Good man. Right, tonight you might as well say what we're just talking a bit of Spurs, aren't we? And just seeing what can be done. And 3 days left in the window is quite bad, isn't it?
I'm happy to just slag off Levy for an hour. That'll be fine.
That's fair enough. Well, we've got 3 guests that we want to bring on, so we're going to bring them on now. This first guest we got, well, this fella needs no introduction. He really doesn't. He is to the Levy out group. He is God. He's like Moses leading the masses to the promised land. He's a really nice fella. He is a top end bloke. He's come all the way from Canada to spend time with Bob Spur as well, and that shows what a true mate and a gentleman he is. And very quickly on Bob Spur, we saw him tweeted on Twitter today. Bob, if you are watching, speedy recovery, mate, and we all can't wait to see you back. And here he is. He is the one. He is the only. Brian Levy out, man, from Tottenham on tour.
Good evening, gentlemen. I was about to say ladies and gentlemen, but there's a good friend of mine, Rachel Freeman, in the chat, so definitely ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing?
Not too bad. How are you, Brian?
All good, all good. I have to say as well, I'm just saying now before everyone comes on as well. I get a lot of credit, obviously, for Levy out and an intro like that because of me having the platform to do so. I've always been on YouTube spouting this, and then I proudly stand with a couple of Enoch out groups. And obviously there's me, Graham and Ryan and Miles that have been there most days. But there are a lot of people in this group that I'm a part of that do exceptional work, that get the message out on Twitter, that try to produce facts, that are also literally go into protests. Some of them live very, very far and don't even go into the ground because Levy, they won't give a penny to. But they travel from Portsmouth, from Brighton, every single home game just to stand out and protest. And they all deserve just as much praise as I do. But I have the face for it. So I just want to say, when everyone thanks me, everyone needs to thank their Enoch and Levy out groups as well. The two that I sit with, Today is Too Dear and Changes for Spurs, and a hell of a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, so they deserve a huge amount of credit as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, Brian, you are an inspiration to me and to many Spurs fans. So I want to say thank you, and many of us Spurs fans want to say thank you for everything you've done, and also all the Levy out groups, both groups that you're involved with. Personally, thank you very much indeed for everything, and let's keep up the fight. Right, the next one we're bringing on, well, he has his views, but he is coming to the light. But he is a top-notch bloke as well. He really is one hell of a nice man, and he's welcome on the stream anytime. It's Sean from the Spurs Talk Show. Good morning, good evening, Sean. How are you? Sean, how are you?
I've got to be honest. A minute ago, in the background, Brian gave me and you a cursory WhatsApp and then told Coover that he loved him. And just now, and you were offended by that, and just now you bring in Brian with that kind of introduction and then bring me in with, he's got his views.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm feeling a little bit unloved here, people. You know, it's not feeling particularly.
I'm sure Alexander, we know you want to bring on 3P on R2D2. Tomorrow night is that show for you. Tomorrow night is the show. So we'll get Kuba to say that later. But the Phil and Kuba show is tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. And then lastly but not least, he does our morning show. He does everyone's coffee. He is an absolute another gent as well. He is the one, he is the only Ben Coffee Man Kaufman. How are you, Ben?
Doing all right. Just had a lovely shoppers dinner, and now we're ready to have some chat and talk about all the bollocks of the evening.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. Right, should we go through some of the chat?
Wait. We have one more guest as well.
Oh, do we? Hang on, I didn't see that.
So it's our mate, Colin from Tottenham Gold. Good evening, mate.
Good evening,
Wasn't sure
Colin.
if you were going to join us or not.
Oh, it's 3 and 3. It's perfect now. It's it's balanced. It's all things
Colin, we can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Okay. Well,
Now we can.
Now, yeah.
Perfect. I'm kind of cutting out here with the green screen, but I got a see-through face. You know, don't worry too much.
Yeah, it's like a reptilian skin behind that.
I'm a lizard
flesh
person.
outlet.
Are you Enoch?
You're part of the Enoch crew, aren't you?
I'm here to make them seem more human.
Nice. How are you,
Next
Colin?
thing you're gonna see Spider-Man just fly past him, as he takes them away.
Which Spider-Man will come take Daniel Levy away? But no, I'm doing okay. Still hopeful that one or two will come in, but I don't think that they'll be first 11. You know, improving.
I'll tell you what, Dermot. It's going to be almost impossible to keep up with all the comments tonight because we've got so many guests on and with a lot to say. So if we do miss out some of the comments, please forgive us. But you'll understand the quality of the chat's going to be good. So let's go from there. We'll welcome a few people though: Philip Brady, Moondog, Chris Ogomba, Rachel Freeman, Mark Cousins. Who else we got?
Aaron's in. Me, Irish brother.
Yeah, Alexander Hilton,
Nicholas Collison,
Luca 14.
Hi, Kurs. Kurs said hi, and I
Hi,
haven't heard
Kirsty.
forever.
14.
Kurs is awesome.
Who else is in there? Kirsty's in. Good evening, Kirst. You're an absolute legend.
Aaron
yourself.
Dove, and
my brother.
That's got all the ones I can see at the moment. So
We'll
thank you for
bring the
joining
comments
us.
up. We will bring them up. But just be a thumbs up from us. Right. Right. Where do we start? Right. We'll start with you, Brian. Tell us what happened today with the protest and what is planned for the weekend.
With the greatest of pleasure. So obviously Ryan and I met up with Graham, and we got there for 9 o'clock this morning. And obviously the first thing I do is tweet that I'm there with him and put different banner that we've got from the collection. And anything I tweet right now is getting a lot of reaction for obvious reasons and getting retweeted. Because I said, if you can't make the protest, just do us a favour, as I've said on many a stream, just keep retweeting and using the hashtag back Conte, hashtag back Levy, back Levy, sack Levy out. Jesus
Daigle was
Christ.
Levy in all along.
Yeah, all right, mate. All right, and tomorrow's the 85th of March. So that's what people are doing, and that's all we can ask for. So what's happened today? Obviously, there weren't a lot of players in there today. Apparently, there's only a couple. I think we saw Ledley King. We definitely saw Steve Hitchin go in. God knows what he's doing in there. Trying to find out how he can mess up another deal. But yeah, what happened today, sir? There's a lot more reaction. People driving past the cars are literally honking and screaming, "Levy out!" Whereas before it was nothing. I mean, you get the odd Arsenal fan that comes by now and going, "You're fucking shit." And I've been shouting back today, "Oh yes, we are. Oh yeah," because I'm sick and tired of saying just carry on running. But then I've had people stopping to have pictures with the banners. I've had people stopping to come and say hello to me. They're like, "Oh, the YouTube guy," or Twitter, which is kind of like why I have become like the mouthpiece, so to speak, because of the platform I had. So So obviously I've said it on streams all the time that I'm a man of my word, and I'll be there, and I'll be there, and I'll be there, and as everyone knows, I stick to my word. So we're getting a lot more response on Twitter. And the great thing that's happening on Twitter now, like the first day that I did it with Ryan and Graham, a lot of the tweets were, "Go on, guys, you can do it, you can do it." But there's a lot of idiots going, "Oh, what an embarrassment," or whatever. Well, it's changed to 50-50, maybe a little bit 60-40 in Levy out favour, to like 95% Levy out, 5%. I mean, one guy didn't realise what he's doing and tried to take the mickey out of me and said, "I've only been protesting for the last 2 days since the two deals that Diaz and Traore fell through, and why wasn't I here for the NFL protest?" I was like, okay, if you're going to have a go at me and try and call me out on Twitter, at least do your research and realise I flew in from Toronto to be at the NFL protest. And Twitter absolutely did what they do best. So listen, the numbers weren't great again today, but what we keep saying, today wasn't about the numbers. Tomorrow wasn't about the numbers. Yes, we'd love them. Yes, we'd love them. The whole thing is gearing up for Monday. The whole thing is gearing up for Monday, and we know why it's gearing up for Monday. It's transfer deadline day. We know there's going to be media there. Fact. Whether they're going to be outside or inside, there will be a group of people. I mean, I'm getting there for 7:30 a.m. with a few people, and we are staying till the window shuts. Now, other people obviously have work commitments. Other people have to travel or have children to look after, which is totally understandable. So we're going to be there all day. And the amount of people I'm having saying that they're coming after work or they've taken a half day, they'll be down there. This is going to be something. Listen, this has all been gearing up from when Lucas Moura was substituted against Manchester United and the crowd erupted. And then the first huge Levy out chance came, and then Conte came in. And then obviously we heard it at Leicester. And then obviously this transfer activity. As I've been saying, there's a lot of people that have had the straw that broke the camel's back syndrome. I've had it since Martin Jol was sacked, and I've been this way since then. I think a lot of people, this transfer window has been the straw that broke the camel's back. And this is the one time where we know there's media coverage. There can be no, like when Sky Sports sometimes mute the crowd or make it quieter, or they distort it so you can't hear certain things or whatever. There'll be none of that. There'll be none of that. This will be pure Levy out people that finally want to come and have their say and finally be heard. And like I said, the two groups that I'm a part of, because this is why I need to go. Obviously, you saw yesterday there was a large group that said they had large numbers and T-shirts and whatever, and that they were going to come. And then yesterday, they whatever how, I'm not going to get into that. And they were saying that the protest isn't going ahead. Well, that's them not going ahead. We have always said we'd be where we'd be, whether it be opposite the club shop, whether it be at games, wherever it may be, we've said we'd be there and we'd be there. And we ain't starting now. It doesn't matter what you say to us, we will be there. If you want to send anything, please feel free to DM me. I'd love to say, come and find me. I'll be at the training ground. But yeah, the protest on Monday goes ahead, and it will be all day. Now, it doesn't matter if you can get there for 5 minutes or 5 hours or the whole thing. The more people there that can finally have their say and be heard, because we will be heard, is now. To do what you need to do. And if you can't get there, like I said, we'd love you to get there, but if it's reasonably impossible, just retweet everything, because there's going to be a lot of activity outside that training ground tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, but Monday as well. Whatever comes, just retweet the hell out of it. And hashtag Levy out. Not back, like I made a mistake earlier. I pray Cody doesn't watch this, so I'll be clipped. Levy out, Levy out, Levy out, Levy out. And Monday is the day. Monday is the day.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Brian. And I have to say, you don't need to tell us, because on this channel we're fully behind the Levy out movement. Myself, Ben, Kuba and Phil were all behind you 100%. I can't be there because I live in Ireland, but I will be on here supporting you.
Yep.
Me and Ben are doing stream Monday night transfer show from 9 to when it closes. We'll be on there to shout and Levy out. I mean, you back me up that, won't you, Ben? We'll be there constantly getting the Levy out message out. I want to go to Colin next. Colin, where do you? I mean, you live in America, don't you?
Correct. Yes, sir. Yep.
So, do you know how do you find what's happening? Like a fan in America. I mean, how long? I don't know how long you've been supporting Tottenham, but how do you find about this Levy out thing? Are you just sick of it like the rest of us? You just want him gone now?
Yeah. I mean, it's a complicated thing. I've been a fan since like 2009, 2010 ish, and so I've seen us make not very many moves in the January windows, and I don't foresee very many coming in now. And I hate the old cliches, that it's like hard to shop in January, but I have to feel like it kind of is. Like any team that's got a player that's like worth it, they're gonna want to keep, to bolster their league position. And any team that's in a bad position that has a good player, they're gonna want to keep them. I guess your best bet would be to go for teams that have a player that's overperforming in their current team. That the team that probably needs money, you could maybe lure them away. But yeah, no, it's definitely getting frustrating. I was one of the very optimistic ones at the beginning of the transfer window, saying, "Oh, just wait, give them time. We'll get something in, something will happen." And I'm very quickly losing that optimism. I do, however, stand by what I said earlier before the transfer window even started. We have a squad capable of getting top four. That's dependent upon everybody staying healthy. That's depending on, but like none of our rivals have strengthened. None of the people that we're fighting for top four have really strengthened. And so I think it'll be down to luck. But I do think that fourth place position is still open. I don't think we're out of it, and I don't think Conte walks if he doesn't get transfers in January. But I do think that it'll be a bad sign. I think that we're definitely going to have to work a lot in the summer if that's the case. But I don't think that I think it's premature to say Conte's walking, and I think it's premature to say that our top four hopes are out the window.
All right, no, that's fair enough, Colin. Cooper, I'll come to you last, Cooper, if you don't mind. But you're the one that's supported Tottenham longer than any of us, because I really want to have your input on this, because I want you to give a thing. Right, I actually go to you now, Coof. Cooper, you've been a Spurs fan since the 70s. You were there in the 80s like I was. Where did it all go wrong for you? Where were the first signs that it started to go wrong?
Well, early 90s, we nearly went bankrupt. So, I mean, you trace it back then to the Scholar days when we floated on the public stock exchange, and he made a series of off-field investments that went hideously wrong. The market basically collapsed while he was making high-risk ventures, and it brought the club down. Then the rescue package involving Alan Sugar, we thought, that'd be great, he saved the club. But at the same time that happened, who was sneaking in through the back door was a little organisation called ENIC, as part of the rescue package. They slowly gained power behind the scenes until eventually we know what happened to Alan Sugar. The fans basically forced him out anyway. He really wasn't a football man, was Alan Sugar, but we were grateful for him saving the club, definitely. So the seeds were kind of sown in that era. But what we've seen since is, you could call it, in my opinion, a masterclass on throwing smoke screens around, using use of mirrors, deflecting from what's going on behind the scenes, led to believe we're driving forward as one of the great clubs again. The glory days are back. Glenn Hoddle was brought in. I thought, brilliant, fan favourite, how can you go wrong? A few years later, after Levy had made a big thing about saying it's all about the football, the style of football, it's what's important to Spurs. Who do we replace him with? Santini. Jacques Santini, one of the most boring, defensive-minded managers you could possibly get, if not the most boring. That's all about Tottenham, is it? That's what the fans want, apparently. That's when I knew the bloke Levy is a bloody liar. He's either a bloody liar or he hasn't got a clue about football. From that moment on, I was suspicious. Well, then what happened with Martin Jol? Unbelievable. Even if you're going to sack the manager, and even if he's done something horrendously bad, the cowardice of sacking him at half time is just, well, it's beyond reproach. It's just something you just don't do. Nobody does that. I mean, even Watford don't. They fire a manager every 2 weeks. So it's a combination of things building up all along, and we're led to believe top 4 clubs, stabilised, Europe. These are all great things on paper until you start looking at the fact we are one of the richest clubs in the world. We are a stature way above a lot of the people that have been doing better than us in the league. The likes of Chelsea coming in with the Abramovich money, yeah, that's going to happen. Same with Manchester City. But we should always be up there. We recovered from that, what happened after the Scholar years. We did recover from it. Now, Enix, to be fair, they have increased our sort of worth. It's mostly off the field, the value of the properties and everything. But our stature did raise, but it's also Levy's practice with when it comes to transfers and hiring and firing of managers, and the inconsistency and the vision and the drive, bringing the club forward. It's held us back. We've always been capped off. The moment we start getting anywhere, the funding stops, the foot comes off the accelerator, happy to coast, we're going nowhere. He's now holding us back. All that promise in the early days quickly evaporated. And since then, it's always little excuses. It's COVID, it's the financial climate, it's the stadium. We are massive. We're a massive club. There's no doubt about it. Why are we not behaving like one? And it's been like it for 20 years. We're always lagging behind when it comes to the transfer market, when it comes to decisions on staff members, when it comes to decisions on managers. It's not good enough, and it's consistently bad over a long time. That's why this bloke has to go. Levy has got to go. There's no option. He isn't going to suddenly get better. This is what he does. It's chipping away. It's little bargain deals. It's chipping the value off a player and then missing out on them because you just don't offer the full value. It's making enemies with other chairmen. People don't trust the club. We're bad to deal with. We're bad business for other clubs. All these things are just terrible for us. And it's all for the sake of the few extra quid they can shove into a development project off the field. Not everybody's sick of it. Most of us are sick of it. But an awful lot of more people are waking up to this fact now. And you can just point back to those 21 years of shameful neglect, shameful mismanagement, and underachieving on massive scale. And I'm beyond angry with it now. I'm just completely focused on wanting this prick out of our club. Likes of Brian Daigle out there, standing out there in the freezing cold with the others around him as well, doing the same. You've got to get behind it. If we don't, we might as well give up. This is like last stand, if you like. This is the part of the final movement to get this bloke out of our club. If it builds up and if it takes a while building up, so be it. We've got to stand by it. We've got to stick at it. We've got to stick together, and we've got to do it as a united fan base. We can't just keep accepting Levy's bullshit excuses for everything. It's time for him to go.
Have you guys seen? Sorry to interrupt. So like I'm constantly just F5ing and looking at transfer crap because I'm.
Well, why are you doing that to yourself?
5 minutes ago, though, Romano talking about the Kuleveski deal. Is that how you pronounce that guy's name?
Yeah,
Kuleveski. We were offering a loan with buy option clause that could become mandatory under certain conditions if he, plays a certain amount of games. I'm guessing. Juve have not accepted that yet, and they want 100% mandatory buy clause, and they want us to pay around 40 million. We were offering in our loan to buy clause 30 million, so we're still 10 million off in the valuation.
It's 10 million again. Do you know what? I don't think. I think Levy's calculator is broken. It just can't add 10 million. It is the most corrupt. Hide the money. 10 million. I mean, I promise you, and I'm not going to get like this, but it's just every single time 10 million. Every single time.
If we what's funny is if we crowdfunded.
Stop. I've got to keep calm tonight. I promise to be calm.
I say if we crowdfunded the 10 million, it would still somehow find a way to disappear. It still wouldn't get spent. Like we could start a GoFundMe and say, here you go, Levy, this is for the 10 million difference in your valuation, and he would be like, oh, thanks, I'm gonna put that towards the the new cinema. I don't know. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent. I just saw that news and thought, I mean, and would you guys be happy with Kulusevski?
Yes, he's a very good player.
Yeah. We'll actually get that question to Sean. Actually, bring Sean and Ben in because they haven't said it. Sean, would you be happy with that deal? And also, Levy has to go, hasn't he? Now, if you're looking on the football side of it, Levy has to go. We're not a football club anymore. I know where you stand on that, but put your fans' head on. Forget your financial side. Put a fan's head cap on. Levy has to go.
You're on mute, Sean.
You're on mute.
Sorry, sloppy. First of all, Kulusevski, yes, 100%. He's insane. I love him. I think he's going to be. He reminds me of a young Kevin De Bruyne. He's 21, 22 years old. He's got bags of talent. He's got pace. He works hard. He can pass the ball. He's 2-footed. He can chop the ball in from both sides. He's got long passes on him. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I think he'd be an absolute superstar in the Premier League. And I was saying yesterday on the stream on my channel, and most of you guys were on it, so you'd be able to testify to this. I was saying before the news broke that we weren't getting Diaz, that I was casting doubt as to whether or not Diaz was even worth getting in the first place, because he solves a problem that we don't have. We already have someone who I'm sure he'd be an absolute worldie for Liverpool, and of course if money was if there was a bottomless pit of money and it was easy to do it, then of course you'd like to have this guy in case he becomes the next whatever. But actually, I think that Kulusevski fills a lot more holes that we actually need right now. So if we can get it in, whether it comes in or not, I don't know. We're getting used to disappointment, but if we can get him in, I'd far rather we have him in than Diaz anyway. So I think a future worldie, to be honest. And as far as is it time for Daniel Levy to go? I'm not. Listen, I'm okay with Daniel Levy staying. I'm okay with Daniel Levy going. I'm not someone who's on the Levy in brigade. I'm someone that's just been curious to know. I'm concerned about what happens if he goes. Who do you sell him to? I don't think there's many options available, and the ones that are available, I think they come with their own set of problems. Pick your poison. I know everybody on this show is Levy out, and increasingly so, and I'll accept the fact that it's been a disappointing window, and I'm certainly getting more frustrated and coming down the spectrum or across the spectrum towards. I'm further on the Levy outside than I was 30 days ago.
Same
that way.
Same.
But,
yeah, I never was Levy out, but I'm starting to become that way.
Yeah, but I also think that the disappointment around Adama, the disappointment around Diaz. Just on those two specific issues alone, I don't think it was because of Daniel Levy that it didn't happen. I personally think it was because the players wanted to go to clubs that have bigger draws, that could offer things that we can't. And so, whilst it amplified the fact that it was embarrassing, the fact that it's humiliating, the fact that we thought we were getting them, then we didn't. And now we're back to square one, and we've got 3 days left, and it doesn't look like we're going to get anyone. I get all those reasons why that amplifies the noise around Levy out. I get it. But on those two specific standalone issues, I don't think it would have mattered whether we put the bid in on the 1st of January or not. Am I Levy out? I'm more Levy out, but I'm not. I was never Levy in. I'm happy for him to go as long as anyone out there can provide me with someone who's a better option, who can afford us, who's not going to cripple our moral compass, and who can do the things that you guys all want to do. And even if you can find that person, I still don't necessarily think it's going to find the success. It might help us find the success, but there's plenty of examples of clubs that have got the things that you guys want, and it's gone terrible for them. And there's two examples right now. Everton, if Everton go down this season, which they could, and I've been saying it for over a month now, then they are fucked. They are done as a club, in my opinion. They might not go bankrupt, but they'll be in administration. And so be careful what you wish for, is all I'll say.
Yeah, it's a vape, Kuva, just to
big
throw
up
that in.
there. Big up, Sean. Ben, what's your thoughts on Levy out, and where do you stand? We all know where you stand, but what's your thought on the Levy thing?
Well, to start, we've got do actually have some breaking news right here. Apparently, Tottenham and Lyon have agreed a deal for Giovanni Lo Celso to go to Lyon. So that's an interesting thing to go on loan till the end of the season.
On loan.
Yeah, loan.
It's okay though. It's okay.
If there's one out the door, it means we're going to bring one in.
100%. That's good.
So
stuff.
that's good news. Where I stand, me and Sean have always been in the same sort of place. We were not happy. We're happy to see Levy go, but only if there's someone that's going to replace him, who's going to improve the club and do all the things we want to see the club do. Where I have come down the Levy out spectrum is now I'm starting to get. I'm very disappointed. This is now. In my entire life of being 26 years old, I've seen Tottenham win one trophy, really, because I was 3 years old when we won in 1998. I can barely remember what I did 2 weeks ago.
99.
99. Let's see. There we go. So I want this club to start acting like a proper football club. And it's not acting like a proper football club. When you look at teams like Manchester United, Liverpool, even Arsenal for the most point, when their manager asks for a player for their system, usually they get a player that they want. With our club, we dilly-dally, we take too long to sign a player, and by the time it gets to the point where we sign the player, someone's already nicked him from us. And it happens every single time. And then the players we do sign are complete duds. Because Levy, I don't want to be the guy that blames Levy for everything, because Sean is right on this. You can't blame him for all the bad things, but then not support him for the good things. You can't do that. You've got to... So he has not employed a good enough scouting network to run this football club, and that is a fact, because we keep on signing dud players, Helder Postigas, Vincent Janssens, Ndombele's, Lo Celso, Anthony Gardner for the most fucking part. I think he was probably there before Levy, but I'm putting his name there anyway. We keep on signing crap quality players, and we shouldn't be, as a club of the size of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, getting crap quality players for the amount of money and infrastructure we've got. So it seems to me, with Paratici coming in, and the first thing he said was, I've got to gut the bloody scouting network because it is rubbish. Levy has allowed the scouting network, since Paul Mitchell has been there, to degrade and to degrade. It's beyond gangrenous now. The leg has already fallen off, and we've been walking around the road with one leg for the past 10 years. And it's about time he's either got to invest in this football club or he's got to do what we've all been saying, as always.
Levy out. Can I just say something here? Ben from We Are Tottenham TV has just texted me. And he's like, Brian, have we totally abandoned or he's done it in our WhatsApp group as well. Said, have we totally abandoned our ambition to sign a right wing back? Because we're after a right wing back for 27 days.
Yep.
And since that's fallen through, we're going for every other position other than a right back. There is absolutely no train of thought. There is no planning. It is literally, let's fucking throw a Hail Mary and see what pieces we can pick up.
Whoever's available for a good price, especially if
we have gone for a right back. A right back is our number one target. Adama is our number one target for a right wing back. Apparently yesterday, Paratici was talking to 15 others and who knows how many right backs, and we were looking for a right wing back, but we need to get Doherty off the books. Whereas since Diaz yesterday, not one single right wing back.
Do you think that might be, just, I'm not suggesting it is, but I'm asking, do you think that might be because, similar to Bergwijn puts in a worldy performance against Leicester, and then before that he was one of the first out the door, the easiest to get rid of if you could find an agreement with Ajax, but because of the Leicester performance, maybe Conte's had second thoughts, and because of Doherty's performance in that game as well, do you think, I hope not, I really hope not, but just suggesting, is it maybe because of that performance that Conte's thinking, well, Doherty might have something in him that we can work with?
Not after his performance against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, true. Good point.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, Brian. Mr. K, welcome to the show. You've been very patiently waiting down the bottom there. Come on, we'll have to get your views on Levy out.
Listen, guys.
Enough's enough now, Mr. K. He has to go, hasn't he?
Look, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me onto the show. I've been keeping my presence a bit limited this week because I'm still recovering. But thank you very much. And, just listening to you guys, you guys give me so much knowledge on what's going on, and that is the pleasure of being here. I'm like one of the viewers that's in the chat right now that is really looking at you guys. I'm just privileged of being here. But in terms of where my position is, I think that's the first question, right? My position is I'm a Spurs in, right? If there is something affecting my Spurs, then I want it out. It just so happens that over the last 21 years, I have spotted that there's one particular individual who seems to be in the center of a lot of things. And from that point of view, I am Levy out. Because I think he's incompetent at being able to do his job. He's covered himself up mostly all the time. He's been able to get away with all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I digress. That is my primary thing, is that all of us as fans, we are Spurs in. That's all of us. You know, whether we think that this person or that person is good for our club, that's an opinion we can all have, right? So as far as identifying which people are not pulling up their weight, you know, we're very easy to criticize the players when they don't pull up their weight. And, you know, we get on their back quite a lot. And I think to a certain degree, we must do the same for upper management. If we apply pressure to upper management, then maybe they might start doing the right things. You know, so at the end of the day, my Spurs wins. You know, that's all I want, my Spurs to win. If the pressure gets put onto the management and they get a brilliant coach coming in, like Conte, well, that's brilliant. That's what we want in our club, right? Then if we get the right players because he's putting pressure on it, lastminute.com, Levy signs a check for like, you know, £35 million, and we get Diaz coming in. You know how many people out there are going to be so super happy about our transfer window? A lot of them will be. They say we'd rather have one Diaz than two other useless players, right? So now this will, at the end of the day, we've got a couple of days left. Are we getting apprehensive? Myself personally, I'm not, because I think like Brian, we've seen this so many times. We've been on this rodeo show before, so we're not. Our hearts are not going to get melted down, honestly. A lot of viewers out there, which we're coming across, a lot of new people that we're coming across that we haven't spoken to before, they're giving us insight into maybe the financial side, in terms of the transfer side, in what's happening in Italy, for example, what's happening in Spain. They've got intimate knowledge of what's going on there, and they're filling us in with more information. But regardless of all that information coming in, the past is still the same. So for me, it's always going to be Levy out, because I believe that until we change this particular individual, we're not going to get a footballing structure that's been put into place that's going to go forward. Now, Paratici is trying to improve our scouting network, but not just the scouting network, it's also the network that you send people out on loan onto, okay? To make sure that you've got good development going on for your youth academy, right? So I think he said there's a lot of work to do to bring it up to a good standard. That means before, it was a shit standard. Sorry, but that's what it is. When Conte turned around and said, listen, forget about your transfers. I've got so much work to do behind the scenes. What's he talking about? Is he talking about the players? No, he kept that separate. He's talking about the rest of the club. So there's so many more facilities and services within the club, which he feels that needs to be brought up to a level. Now, he said that if we bring things up to a certain level, we can then be in a position to be competitive for honours. Because everybody wishes to have a cup. Everybody goes, oh, I haven't had a cup for like 30 years. There's clubs out there that haven't won a cup for 50 years. Imagine how they feel, right? So, in effect, he's right. We must see the signs that the club is raising itself up. And that's not just on the outside, as in like the stadium, but also the inside, as in like, you know, the nutrition, the medical help, the training facilities, are they being used properly or not? Why do our players keep getting niggling injuries all the time? There's a whole load of things that need to be corrected in order for us to have a fully functioning professional club, right? Once we've got that in place, Conte can go. Another manager can come in. It doesn't make a difference. Our infrastructure is now strong enough to compete with top 6 clubs, right? So I think to a certain degree that all the managers that came before that managed to get us into top 4 and all the players that played for them, I think they played exceptionally well and played out their bloody skins to get us where they got to. Because our true reflection of where we are as a club is really 6th. That's really, honestly. If we get to 4th at the end of the season, you know, I think that's an amazing achievement compared to where we started. If this transfer that happens or doesn't happen, at the end of the day, you know, Conte is the one that's going to tell us whether he's happy or not happy. And I trust in Conte. There's one person. Now, I had an interesting statement the other day. Someone turned around to me and said, we talk about transparency. I said, basically, is transparency good? Is it bad? Have we got enough? Have we not got enough? And someone turned around to me, an alternative fan from Chelsea, said, he goes, if you trust your club, you don't need transparency. You don't care what the club does. But if you don't trust your club, then you want to know everything. And I think to a certain degree, that's what's happened to an awful lot of fans. We've lost our trust. We want to know. And because we want to know, the media can so easily manipulate us by giving us rumor after rumor. So if you look at some players, they don't want to come to our club. Their agent is making noise so that their parent club gives them a new contract. Or some big club like Barcelona says, hey, wait a second, let's have a look at this player. We've got him a scout report already. Maybe it's worthwhile bringing over. That team's interested. Maybe we should nick him. Right? So these type of shenanigans happen all the time. Most of the time, if we're going to get a good transfer, no one knows. Last minute, next man comes in for a physical, and that's how we know. Everything that's been talk, guess what? 9 times out of 10, every talk has been what? Nothing. So that's my 2 pence. I mean, I didn't want to make any people upset or sad or anything, because at the end of the day, I always believe there's a silver lining, and that is Conte is not going to summer. So I'm breathing and relaxed.
Mr. K, you've got to realise, I'm not saying he will walk. I'm not saying he will walk, because I think he'll do it in the summer as well. But today, Paddy Power suspended betting on him being the next manager to walk out.
I feel like that's a move from Paddy Power to try to influence once they reopen betting.
Okay, so Connie, one thing I will say, the Bessie and the bookies over here, when they do things like that, it's because they know shit.
But so you don't think it's manipulating the market so that whenever they reopen, that he'll be one of the top choices?
No, it's not the stock exchange. It's not the stock exchange. This is like when Romano says, here we go.
Yeah.
When they suspend betting, there's either a whisper, they can see the trend that's happening, and you've also got to remember they've got to cover their bets, because if bets start coming in, they're liable for those bets.
Yeah.
So what they do, if a big influx of people come in, like if you've got a horse at 100 to 1, and the trainers say, listen, it's a sure thing, this is wrong, and everyone starts putting 100 to 1, those odds get shortened damn quick, because they realise there's an influx of people betting on this, and it's a bit weird that all of a sudden things are getting betted on. I'm not saying it's happening. It's only Paddy Power that have done it. It's only Paddy Power that have done it. I'm not saying it is going to happen. I think he walks in the summer if he does walk. I'm not saying he walks. I reckon if there's a time he walks, it will be the summer if he doesn't get back. But what you got to remember with this transfer window as well, is this weren't just to show Conte we mean business. It was to show Harry Kane we mean business. Because if we get to a summer with nothing, when the window's shut, and we don't win a trophy or get Champions League, and Harry knocks at the door and says, so Daniel, I gave you another year. You promised you matched my ambition. You promised there'd be new players coming in. Yes, you done good with Conte. And then Daniel Levy says to him, oh, don't worry, this is the summer, we're going to show you. Do you reckon Boy Who Cried Wolf syndrome is going to come? Because the wolf is calling and he's approaching the door very, very quickly. This is to show Harry Kane, yes, we mean business. This is the kind of signings we're going to make under Conte. This is what you can expect in the summer. And there's been nothing. Big, fat, round, zero, nothing. We haven't even had a backup for Harry Kane. A reliable backup. We have gone through backup after backup after backup after backup after backup. All have flopped because we won't spend the money. And then people are like, oh no, I won't play with Harry Kane. It's fucking nonsense.
Vinicius was decent, but I get where I'm following you. I know what you're saying.
I think the problem with that, though, Brian, is we shouldn't be signing backups. Backup is a shit word made up by...
It's competition. It's competition.
No, but it's not competition. They are backup. We need someone that's going to play with them. We need to compete with them.
You're right.
Tottenham Hotspur, in the glory days, had 5 strikers. And because of the prick in charge of the football club, he won't sign players. If they crying about not wanting to play with Harry Kane, don't fucking sign them. They're weak mentality.
Right, a good player would believe in themselves.
I'm going to fight Harry Kane for that shirt.
Nick, who goes under the name of Barry, Arthur, Phil, Grant, Sharon, all the EastEnders characters, because he picked his name randomly. He's 11-2 second favourite on Sky as well now. There's no, I keep telling people, there is no smoke without fire with this absolute parasite.
The bet that was cancelled was the next manager to walk. It didn't mean it would happen tomorrow or on Monday or Tuesday.
No,
just the next manager to go, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yes, they certainly don't think. Well, put it this way, mate, a manager will go before the end of the season. You know what I mean? It could be a relegation. I mean, look at Watford. I mean, Watford will probably hire Roy Hodgson next week.
They have. They've already done it. They've already hired him.
No, I'm saying they'll probably fire him within a week. That's a long term for a Watford fan. But for him to be Antonio Conte. Antonio goddamn Conte. An absolute pinnacle of world football management, who has just come into a job
with his friend Paratici,
is now favourite to be the next manager to go, and second favourite on Sky.
It just seems like we have no idea. We have no idea what was promised or what. And Paratici, it just seems weird. It just seems to me weird to me that he would walk without with.
I agree. Yeah.
He's such a winner. He's got such a winning mentality. It would be such a big red blip on his CV. I just
Colin.
No, you know what it is? Sean said this on Tuesday.
Why did you leave Inter Milan?
No, I get it because
because the manager wouldn't back. He doesn't, mate. Antonio Conte can walk out of Tottenham tomorrow. Not saying he will, and if he wanted, he could have a job by the end of the day tomorrow. Because whatever club you're at, unless you're Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, any manager that hears Antonio Conte's about, they will fire their manager from him if they had to. If you could get Antonio Conte, realistically, you cannot get better. So Antonio Conte left Chelsea because of a disagreement with Abramovich over financial backing and players sales and player bringing in.
Brian.
And he walked out of Inter Milan because Inter Milan wanted to sell his best players. He was like, "You're not doing this," and he walked away from his contract because he's a man of principles and he believes in things. He will have absolutely no problem walking out on Tottenham, and when he goes, this man does not go quietly.
That's why he's the favourite to go, mate, because he's got history of throwing the toys out of the pram.
History can repeat itself. Lightning has struck twice.
No, I get it. That's what I'm saying. The reason why he's the favourite is because he does it all the time. So
yeah,
I'll do a forfeit if he walks on February.
Hang on. I just want to hang on that, lads. I just want to ask this question that go around to everyone. Right, I agree what Brian has said. I'll start with you, Kuba, then I go to Brian, and then I go to Mr. K. I'll go around to you individually. Kuba, I'll start with you. Does Paratici, if he doesn't bring anyone in, does he have to share the same responsibility as Levy? Or do you think, we give Paratici to the summer to sort this out? Or
that's a difficult one to answer. It's a difficult one to answer unless we know exactly what's going on. But it appears that things are following in line with what's always happened when Daniel Levy's been here. And that is offering a derisory amount of money for a top quality player and failing to get them. That is a trait of Levy's tenure. So if it would be a bit of a coincidence if Paratici is also that mind, but he may be. It doesn't ring true to me. I think somebody's pulling, the same person's still pulling the strings at the end of the day. He's having some help identifying players, but when it comes to the actual offers and the money involved, it still reeks of Levy all over for me.
It does. Sean, I know you're trying to say, same question to you. Does Paratici, if he doesn't bring anyone in this January window, are you prepared to give him a pass to the summer, or as Kuba says, do you think it just all stinks of Levy anyway?
I don't know if it does stink of Levy. Like, Paratici's the guy who's out in Italy right now, juggling, spinning 10 plates and trying to agree one. I don't like. I was saying this in the background to you guys beforehand, right? I genuinely think that we maybe have the worst possible combination of two different negotiators and deal makers in world football. First of all, you've got a chairman who has a recognised reputation of being, at best, a difficult negotiator, right? At worst, just plain stubborn and insular and just a nightmare to work with. Couple that now with a guy whose style and strategy is to go around to 10 different clubs at the time, like a strategy that they're proud of, and they amplify that noise. Like, oh, this is what he does. He goes around and he spins one plate. He'll go and have a conversation with one club about one player, another club about another player, another club about another player. He'll essentially agree 10 deals and then figure out whatever one is best when they're all agreed, with absolute disrespect shown to the clubs that you're dealing with, because they don't know whether they're coming or going. They have no idea whether or not we've agreed a deal in principle, but you've also agreed a deal with 9 other clubs. So how the fuck are we supposed to move forward until we know? It's arrogant and it's disrespectful. And I understand Daniel Levy would absolutely love that. Daniel Levy goes, I'm going to sign a guy who's good enough at his job, who's got the relationships to be able to negotiate 9 deals at once, and then come back to me and say, well, this is the best deal, this is the best value for money. I get why Daniel Levy loves that, but I think it's a cocktail of arrogance, nastiness, disrespect that does not consider the outgoings and ingoings of the other 400 clubs around Europe that and what they want to do. To me, I think it's an absolute recipe for disaster. And I heard today, Paratici gets paid 180 grand a week. And this is his 1 month. This is his 1 month where he does business. And he's had 6 months to plan, and we're waiting until the 29th. It's this kind of information when I sit back and go, I get it. On the transfer front, I've always agreed the transfer thing is absolute nonsense. The policies, the processes, this strategy, it's a cocktail where you've got one guy that no one wants to deal with anyway, and another guy who shows absolute, like, contempt almost, right? It's a strong word, but contempt for the other parties, the counterparties in any relationship. I think it's a recipe for disaster. Do we get rid of him? I don't think you can get rid of him after one transfer window. I think you have to give him the patience as well. Let's just hope that Conte doesn't leave, and neither does Paratici, and that everything there's some grand master plan. History tells us there's probably not. That's how I feel about Paratici. Thus far, I've been incredibly unimpressed. The deals he has done, he brought in Galini, who's done nothing. He's shown no class. He brought in Brian Hill and paid 25 million quid plus Lamela, who wasn't at the end of his contract. Lamela had probably 6-7 million quid's worth of value left on that head. So you're really paying 32 million pound for a player who we're maybe going to loan back to Spain because he's not ready yet. And then we paid 25 million pound for Emerson Royale, and whether it's true or not, Barcelona came out and said that they couldn't believe that we paid that amount of money. So as of right now, Paratici is 0 for 3 in what he's actually done, and he's 3-0 in the amount of people he's probably pissed off. And I actually think that maybe Wolves did this deliberately. Maybe Wolves strung us along with Adama. Maybe Porto strung us along with Diaz. Maybe, who knows? I'm speculating here, but I think there might be a lot of people in Europe who just don't like Tottenham Hotspur because of A, Paratici, and B, because of Daniel Levy. So I don't feel confident at all with what's going on in the transfer process, and I hope I've articulated why.
Yeah, go on, Brian. Yeah, there. Hang on before you go to there. Go on, Mr. K. You got a bit of breaking news on the Everton thing you've just put there.
Well, yeah, basically, it's on the BBC website. On the BBC website, saying that Lampard has been offered the job. On another website, it said that Lampard has already started the duties of training duties. So I don't think he'll turn the job down. This is Everton we're talking about. If you took on Chelsea, you can definitely take on Everton. Is it a good fit? Who cares? They're in opposition.
Yeah. Go on, Brian. Have your say.
I was going to say, should we let Mr. K have his say, because I know he's got to nip off.
Yeah, that's true. He's got to go.
Sorry, guys. I don't know which part of the conversation we were at.
Paratici.
Paratici. Okay, Paratici, right? Yeah.
Blame with Levy.
Paratici. The problem now we've got right, yeah, is this aspect we just spoke about some time ago, which is like got to do with transparency. We're making assumptions. We're taking hypothetical guesses. There are some whispers from here and there from journalists and so on that give us guidance. But at the end of the day, if you stand back and forget the characters that are there, and just look at how the club as an animal is behaving, you notice that it hasn't changed its behavior. It's still acting the same way if Paratici had been there or not been there. He's like an advanced scout or an advanced, meet and greet person, right? So forget him for a second. Let's have a look at the club, because at the end of the day, it's the individual person. We're always going to look for the individual person, like, oh, that player was shit. That's the reason why we kept losing. Winks can pass the ball forward, we'd win something. If Sanchez doesn't do this, if Dyer was one mover, we do this too much, and we look at the manager as well. Well, we can look at next man. We can look at Paratici and say, well, what's his job and role? He's meant to be in charge of all footballing matters, really. Build up the club that way. But the problem is, he's not financial matters. You can't possibly ask him and say to him, listen, dude, here's a budget. That type of stuff doesn't seem to exist. It'd be so easy if they could do that and say, listen, you got this much budget this year. See what you can do with it. right? And then he goes off and he does it. And he doesn't need to consult anyone. He got the deals there. Bang, bang, bang. It's all right. Come in, Levy. Give me a stamp. That's it. No point calling a director otherwise. Personally, I think to myself that success or failure in this transfer window, success or failure in the next transfer window, I don't really care. I made my mind up a long time ago about next man. I ain't going to change that. As far as my club is concerned, I want some good stuff to happen. And if they happen to trip over each other to bring something good in, fantastic. You know, if they've got to put some pressure on them and then they bring some people in, fantastic. But as far as next man is concerned, I'm never going to blame Paratici for anything. Why? Because he's been employed to do a job. Whether he does it good or bad, at the end of the day, next man shouldn't have chosen him. I keep going down that road. I know. So that's my bottom piece, is that basically I believe that our club is in fantastic hands, right? If those three characters can find a way to work with each other, one in charge of overall footballing matters, one in charge of the financial matters, and one in charge of making sure the squad does what it needs to get done in order for it to win trophies or win, get into top four or whatever they're going for, right? So I think if they can do a three-way triangle like that, that'd be fantastic. All you need now then is someone that can be really strong for the academy. And once you've done that, that's it. We've got a diamond club. I'm telling you straight. So as far as I'm concerned, Spurs in. I've had enough of Levy. I don't need anything proof today, tomorrow, whenever, right? Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Levy out from 3 years ago. He can bring that in the moon on a stick. I don't care. Now I know people out there, fans out there, may think to myself that I'm being a little bit harsh on Levy. Dude, just watch everything that I've ever watched, and you'll realize why. So it's an individual, personal thing upon what I feel. And I think that's the case with everyone. We can agree upon something, disagree on something, but our personal right to choose what we don't like, that's our personal right. Everyone should have that, including people that say Levy's okay. They should be entitled to have that opinion. If that's what they believe from the information they've got, they should be entitled to believe in it. We're fans first, for crying out loud. Let's not look at each other in a bad way. Let's start looking at the people that are causing the real trouble, the people that have been there constantly for 21 years that are causing the problem. Anyway, Paratici, good luck. I'll give him another window. I'll give him this window and the next window before I decide what I think about Paratici. Because I think he's one of those guys that like to develop the long term, not the short term.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Anyway, I got to go.
Ben,
I got to make. Sorry, guys, I got to make a move. I promise the missus I'll spend some time. And Sean,
good on you, man. Good man.
Sean,
good on you.
Ben, pleasure. Colin, absolutely fantastic. Cooper, Brian, don't freeze too much out there. And
I won't, mate.
Irma, listen, thank you very, very much for allowing me to on your show. Honestly, I love you boys, and I love the viewing audience that you've got as well. And if you are watching viewing audience, please do like this particular show, and if you can, sub if you haven't subbed, and if you can share it somehow on Twitter or something, and let more people know about this. They do some amazing watch-along streams from yesteryear, some classics. So anyway, listen, guys, gotta go. All the best. And one thing, I think I have to mention this for some people out there. Levy out.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. K. And he's gone. Right.
I've just got to say, before we go on, I've just seen him in the comments, so you know what tradition is coming up. And everybody, it's Johnny Kiriakou. It's Johnny Kiriakou.
That was beautiful.
Otherwise known as Bun.
Correct.
Quite aggressively.
Danny, I hope that's skiing. I hope that's skiing and not skiing and not some Daniel Levy type snowing.
Can I have my say on Paratici now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go next after you.
Go on, Brian. Then go Brian, then Colin, and then you, Ben. Is that all right, Ben?
Yeah.
So
Okay, go on, Brian.
I have to say, when I was laughing when Sean was speaking, I wasn't laughing at him. I was laughing with him because he's bang on the money. With this being a cocktail is a recipe for absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. We have a guy that struggles to get one deal over the line with Levy, with a guy that talks to 300 people. It is an absolute recipe for disaster. And when we hired him, I said all along, when you look at Daniel the Parasite Levy, you think, what's his business model? Identify young talent, source them, buy diamonds, not lumps of coal to turn into diamonds, buys diamonds, sells them for a ridiculously high amount. That's Louis Campos. That is Louis Campos to the letter. Like job description, bang, in a nice parcel. But no, we have to go for the guy that brokers deals like Ronaldo and Pogba and all these big superstars. I'm not going to go for all the ones in Italy and think he's going to get it here. Don't get me wrong. Do I think Levy may have said we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and it not happen? Yeah, probably. But this combination is an absolute recipe for disaster. The one person Sean forgot to admit. 1 second, my mother. Yeah, I'll keep my voice down. I'll try, man. We're talking Levy. I'll try.
You got
Sorry,
told, bro.
no,
You got
no,
told.
No, I don't get told. My mom goes to bed. She's tired, and I tend to speak very loud when I talk about Levy, so I've got to keep my noise down.
I get the same treatment, mate. Don't worry.
You need a soundproof room, mate.
Yeah.
That's the thing I want to talk about. No, I'm only joking.
That sounds very.
The one thing, Sean, Celery Agent, answer me. Please tell me you can now access Tottenham on tour. I need to know. Please just say Brian yes in the comments so I know. Getting back to the one person Sean got to admit, put in that he gave the 3 failures, which are bang on the money. But Romero is a big deal, and Paratici was all over that. There's no doubt about it that he was all over that. And what we've seen of Romero and everything, he does look like the real deal. There's no getting away from it. But that's still 1 being good, 3 being less basic. Galini, Nyon, ridiculous. Emerson, I mean, I don't even understand what's happening. I didn't even know that bit about Barcelona. That's when I started laughing. They still can't believe. And the worst thing is they used that money to buy Traore. It's literally, listen, the main person at the foot of all this is Daniel. Listen, it's another transfer window where we've done sod all, left it till the last minute, and just clutching at straws. That's got Daniel Levy all over it. But Paratici has all the footballing responsibility. Paratici will make all the footballing decisions, and the decisions he has made and the way we've got about business is absolutely abysmal, as always. But Paratici does not get away with this scot-free. Does not get away with this scot-free. I am completely in agreement with Sean. If I had to say it, just because of my Levy hatred, I'd say 55 Levy, 45 Paratici, but it doesn't look good. But you've brought in a guy that signs superstars on big money and big wages, is not the Tottenham Hotspur model, is the Chelsea model or the Man City model. The ideal candidate was someone that fits the model, that identifies young talent, buys them, turns them into world superstars, and when the time comes to sell, but we're not a selling club anymore, sells them for an extortionate amount of money. That fits the job description perfectly, and it's Luis Campos. But I liken it. Do you know, we've all seen that movie Pretty Woman, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know Richard Gere, he has a penthouse, but he's scared of heights. He goes, but it's the best. When they go to the theatre, he sits in the back, like the top seat, but it's the best. That's what Levy does. Oh, Paratici's meant to be the best. Let's get him. He may not benefit us, but we'll get him because he's the best. We'll get Mourinho because I've scouted him for 20 years, and I know that he spends hundreds of millions, win trophies, fucks off. But I'm not going to give him one. I'm going to make him fuck off, and he won't win trophies. You only make. It's Levy and Paratici together. Slightly more Levy than Paratici, but this is, like Aaron said, 1 billion% a lot on Paratici as well. He does not get away scot-free.
Fair, mate.
Well said, Brian. Well said. And go on, Colin. What's your thoughts?
I was shaking my head no at Scott's comment. So he said earlier, first of all, without Paratici, I don't think that we would have Conte at the club. So I think that the relationship between those two really helped to get Conte in. And I think that we've seen already with no signings, what Conte has been able to do, the way he's transformed our club, the form that we've been in, since he came in has been top 4 form really, and in the league at least. And he says in another comment that he doesn't think that it was Paratici that got Conte. He thinks it was Levy that lied to him about backing. But that's such conjecture. You can say, like, there's absolutely nothing to substantiate that claim, and it's just kind of that bothers me in a way. It's just like talking. I could make stuff up too. I could say that he was promised 200 million in the summer and was told in the winter. In the winter window, nothing's happening. It's all just conjecture at this point, and I think that everyone is rightly upset. Everyone's rightly frustrated and angry, and season ticket prices have been going up. All the money that we've been making is seemingly going into these development projects, and I understand the anger and stuff behind that, but I don't want us all to jump to conclusions and like the sky is falling and Conte's leaving. And I just don't, I think that's premature. And I think that that's probably doing a number on a lot of our mental health whenever we should just kind of let it ride and see. I mean, there's nothing else we can do. And so I agree with the protest. I think the protest needs to go on, but I just think that everyone being so sure that Paratici is leaving, February 1st or even the beginning of the summer. I want to say Paratici. Sorry, Conte is leaving February 1st, maybe the beginning of the summer. I just think that that's premature, and I will shave my head. I promise. Promise if Conte leaves after this window. I swear to God. I know it's not a huge forfeit. I'm not getting a tattoo like Brian, but I'll do it because I truly don't think it'll happen. I think after the summer window, if he's not backed, I could see him. I see him. First of all, I see him doing his full 18 months, and after that, we'll see. But oh, that's cool. The Chris Callum thing was kind of neat. But yeah, I just don't think. I think it's way too soon to say that he's gone. What do you think he expected? Do you think even if Levy promised him things, everybody knows Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy is a known commodity. He's known for. Would you believe a thing that guy said? Ever? Like, I just don't think that Conte's an idiot. And even so, if Levy said, "Oh yeah, mate, we'll have 150 mil if you just spend in January," if I was Conte, I'd be like, "Are you fucking sure, bud? Like, are you?" Because I don't know. I just think that maybe we all need to try as hard as we can.
Don't go down that road.
Which one?
No, when you're saying like stay calm, we're Colin, we are. I love you dearly. Big up, Graham, brother. But don't go down the stay calm, because the stay calm was January the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th when I went mad on We Are Tottenham TV and said this was going to happen. We then had the remaining days. There is now. It's gone 11 o'clock. There is 3 days to try and get players in and players out. 3 days left is panic time.
But Brian, if it's true about Lo Celso, right? The one thing everyone does have to remember is because of the 25-man squad rule, right? Unless Levy, and we know the sort of guy Levy is, unless Levy is prepared to take the risk and bring someone in without having negotiated an exit, then he could be left in the handcuffed position where he's got 26 men in the squad and then has to write someone down and deregister them and pay. And if it's going to be one of them, it's going to be Ndombele, who gets paid somewhere between 100 and 200 grand a week. We all thought it was 200. Apparently it's not that high. But then you're going to give that guy 4 million quid to sit on his ass for the next 6 months. I know that we're doing that anyway, but I know how frustrating it is. But if it's true that we have managed to secure a loan for Lo Celso, I think that will be key, and it's probably telling that he wouldn't have done that unless he's got an arranged deal, whether it's Amrabat, whether it's Kulusevski, to get rid of Lo Celso, who wasn't on the highest priority list to get rid of. Like, Ndombele's far higher than him, Dele Alli's far higher than him. So if Lo Celso was third on the list, if we've organised that loan, if it's true, then I think that tells us that we're probably going to get someone in who's, and I think that Amrabat doesn't probably equate to the same level of Lo Celso, but Kulusevski does. So to me, it probably means if Lo Celso's going, Kulusevski's coming in, because you wouldn't want Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy would never want to have 26 men on the roster and then deregister someone.
Yeah, welcome Andy Carroll.
Yeah, that's it.
Cardi's already gone on loan to someone. He's gone to West Brom on loan.
Oh, actually, yeah, we probably tried, but they were asking for too much.
Yeah. Probably.
Andy Carroll's still got something to offer, Do you see that? Is it a hat trick or a brace that he scored the other week? And they were absolute belters. Absolute belters.
But Ben's been very quiet. Go on, Ben. How do you say in Paratici there?
Well, I think we're jumping the gun on criticising Paratici too much. Yes, he does deserve criticism because he's on a lot of money and he's in a position of power. But when we look at the previous regime of Paul Mitchell working with Pochettino, how many years did it take to get Pochettino a decent squad able to challenge? 3, 4 years? Something like that? And that's 6 windows. We cannot judge a director of football on 2 transfer windows, especially when we've had a change of manager halfway during that. So as soon as you have a new manager, we almost have to reset. So we need to give this director of football and this manager at least 3 windows to really get an idea of when we've got to the idea, we've got an information how it works and what his transfer is, then we can say, all right, now we can criticise him. He's done this, this, and this. He's got a 5-year track record of doing absolute shit. Now we get him out. If we're jumping the gun immediately and saying already calling for his head in some cases, what does that speak to us as football fans? It goes to show we are totally impatient. We are just getting rid of everyone. Just to say, oh, I want a new toy now. Oh, he's not pleased me in 5 minutes. I want a new toy now. I want a new toy now. I want a new toy now. I want a new toy. We've got to be patient with a new director of football, learning the football in England. And we gave Paul Mitchell that amount of time. We gave Hitchin that amount of time. It's about time we gave Paratici a similar sort of time to... Because if we're just asking for his head immediately, we're just fucking idiots, aren't we? We might as well just be relegated because we're a bunch of knobheads. So let's give him some time. We should be panicking to sign a Kulusevski because we should have signed him 2 months ago anyway. But we shouldn't be asking for his head immediately.
Kuva, I'll start with you and then I'll go around to Brian, and then I think Colin's gone off for a little bit, so then I'll go to Ben and then you, Sean. Tottenham have lost their soul. They've lost the Bill Nick ethics of what Tottenham used to be. Always in the 60s, 70s, 80s, going out buying players when we need the best. The ENIC have lost that, so just play devil's advocate. ENIC and Levy go. What do the new owners have to do to not make the same mistakes again that ENIC and Levy have to do? I've done.
For a start, we want the new owners to be passionate about football, not about making money. That is the primary objective. The two can go hand in hand, but you can't ignore one at the expense of the other. So they've got to be driven to want success for the football team. It's no good just saying, well, we got to a certain point, we made a nice bit of money, the club's secure, we've secured our future by all these investments we got off the field. That's great to be able to say that, but it's not going to bring us success. It's if that was all you wanted to do, why are you investing in a football club? Why not do another business entirely? This is a community-based thing still, believe it or not, where people do base their working week around the club. The people, it means something. It's symbolic. It's a hub of the community. If you're going to ignore that, then you're going to get hostility towards you. There's no way around that. You have to include the fans in everything. It's the core of the club still. If the bricks come down, and if the management's gone, or if the chairman have gone, the fans are going to be there. The team will find a way back one way or another. The club is going to exist in one form or another. So you've got to embrace that. You've got to embrace our history, what we're all about, what the fans expect. If you keep ignoring that in favour of just some quick money, you deserve to get some flack. So the new owners got to, first of all, they've got to be football people. They've got to be really focused on what fans want. Do everything you can to enhance the team. They've got to get in football men to run the football side of things. You can't just have a businessman doing it, making all these decisions. Levy seems to be hands-on areas where he's got no expertise, and it shows. We've got no consistent direction throughout. So we need that in place. I mean, other clubs have a structure. I mean, Ajax is always my favourite one to look at because they've had the system in place for years, a hierarchy of ex-players that govern the appointments of the managers. The whole academy knows how they're going to be playing. They're used to a style of play when they're growing up through the club. They can easily fit into the team when they're ready for it. There's no sort of bedding in period. The club plays this way. They know what's expected. We don't have any of that. We change it every couple of years. Completely different style. So there's got to be a consistency. There's got to be a solid background, of course. The business side of it is important. We can't completely ignore that either.
Yeah.
But you've got to get this focus on the side. The same focus that Levy's using on all these businesses off field has to be applied to the team. Has to be applied to the direction of every employee at the club, every player at the club, all going in the same direction. Not change every two 2 or 3 years with a different manager and completely different philosophy. But let's all be pulling in the same direction. That's going to get the fans behind us. We'll know what's going on then. We'll know what to expect when a new manager comes in. We will know what they're all about, because that's what we do. That will be the Tottenham way. We've lost that. We're just meandering wildly. It's just Levy seems to pick out a name he's heard of and go with that. There's no thought about the continuation of what we start at any project. It's a new project every 2 or 3 years. It's wrecking us. So the new owners in will have to get that in place. Get that some sort of coherent strategy, an overall strategy of where we're going. Because at the moment we don't feel like we're going anywhere, do we? It's just you see the developments off the field, and then on the field, anything doesn't seem to matter. Guesswork.
It doesn't, Cooper. I mean, I've said it before and I say it again. You cannot forget the past of this club. This club has a brilliant past. Levy has forgotten it. He doesn't want to know it. He's a parasite. He's a fucking arsehole. Excuse my language. He is a fucking idiot. He has no care for our club, for our past, for Bill Nick, for Arthur Rowe, for Steve Perriman, for Glenn Hoddle, for Ozzy Ardiles, Ricky Villa. You can name a list of players down that line. That players that there should be statues outside the stadium. We have a no policy statue. Why? They had a bust of Bill Nick. That's it. We've got a fantastic new stadium. Where's the history? Where's our history of White Hart Lane? It's all about money for the Levy and Enid. And the sooner they're out of the club, the better. Brian, going on about statues like for Bill Nick and Arthur Rowe and Danny Blanchflower and great players. I mean, it's a shambles, and I'm so embarrassed. We don't celebrate our past players. I mean, surely to God, we should. Man United do it. Leeds have done it. Liverpool have got the Shankly Gates and the statue of Bill Shankly. Man United have Best, Law and Charlton and a big statue of Sir Matt Boswell. Leeds even have one of blooming, what's his name?
Billy Bremner.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, and we have got nothing. Even fucking Arsenal have a statue of the donkey.
They have one at Burkham. They have one on Reed.
Yeah. So, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with our club? It's not a club anymore. It's not Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. It's Lenik Evie Entertainment Venue Club. Our club died years ago.
So, listen.
Sorry, it
when
gets
it
me
comes
ramped
to
up. That does.
This is a thing. When this regime came in, or this whatever you want to call it, this ownership, this company came in, they brought in a no statue policy. Thank God we had a bust of Bill Nicholson. Thank God we had that bust there. That was irremovable, and he was never going to say, right, take that down. He just wouldn't, because it would have been over for him before it even began. All these big teams you mentioned, if you look at all these teams and their history, even Leeds with all their complications that they've gone through, that's the one. It's not as good as what's it, but their fibre of being proud Yorkshiremen and proud of their heritage and proud of where they come from, and to represent the past is a huge part of Leeds' identity. Bob Spur, my beloved Bob Spur, my brother, talks about identity with Tottenham Hotspur all the goddamn time. It's one of his key points. They have an identity. You look at Liverpool, they honour Bill Shankly. They honour Kenny Dalglish. They embrace that history. You go to United, you don't even need to talk about United and what that club represents and why it's the size it is. And now you've got Chelsea. You've got West Ham. I can even talk about West Ham. West Ham, Bobby Moore. I didn't get to watch the great man play, but what a player. England World Cup winner. Bang, there you go. You did it. These are icons. These are people where, please God, if I ever get to have children, or people that do have children, their great-great-great-great-grandchildren will know about Bobby Moore, will know about Billy Bremner, will know about Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law, the Munich the Busby babes, they will know about it all. They will know about it all. And I say this on a lot of streams, and you can all vouch for it. When I'm not on your channel, I big this channel up so much, because what you're doing is you're making sure that Spurs fans have a place to come and remember the past. They have a place where they can see what we stood for. They have a place where they can see the greats that we had and how we honoured them. And they hear Bill Nicholson's quotes. They see the trophies he's won, the respect that man had. And it's just been wiped clean off the map with us. Wiped clean off the fucking map. You look at it, and it could be a tourist attraction. I'm telling you now, if there was a Bill Nicholson, even if we could have two, let's say Bill Nicholson and Jimmy Greaves. Let's just say those. So I know Dave Mackay, and there's other players that are worthy of it. Bill Nicholson for obvious reasons. Jimmy Greaves, and I always use this, but I'm talking about when I talk about Jimmy Greaves, I use a quote that Bret the Hitman Hart used to say in WWF, which is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's what Jimmy Greaves was. And there's nothing. You put statues of them outside the club, fans will flock from around the world that are of different ages, take their kids or whatever, people that were there in the Jimmy Greaves era, to have their photo with that. Also gives us a bit of heritage. Also gives us a bit of identity. We can't have identity. We can't have identity. We can't even have THFC in white on the seats because it's not a football stadium. It's an entertainment centre. It's a concert venue. It's a NFL pitch. It's a boxing venue. It is not Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And anything that represents us is not allowed. This is the kind of thing that people don't see what is happening. How it doesn't matter what age you are. Jimmy Greaves and Bill Nicholson deserve a statue outside that ground. Outside that ground. And the very fact that this parasite won't even dignify that just goes to show it doesn't matter about Tottenham's past at the moment. It doesn't matter one iota because there is no past. We know it. We're not allowed to embrace it. We're not allowed. I mean, the fact that we still have, and they've taken it down now, the game is about glory. Well, that's a fucking joke. That's the most hypocritical thing that could be used about our stadium now. Because the game isn't about glory. The game is about profit. And this no statue policy, do you know what? If Daniel Levy had a fucking shred of humility, a shred of empathy, a shred of decency, just saying, do you know what? We're going to honour Jimmy Greaves and put a statue. Even I would turn around and say, do you know what? You've done the right thing. For fucking once, you've done the right thing. Not for the football pitch, but that's something. Won't change my stance on him, but it's fucking something. This guy is so ridiculous. Like I said, it's not about Tottenham's past. Thank God your channel is here to show people that don't know or want to relive it. And thanks to Doug Jive, One and Simon that provides the content. Thank God for you guys, because people can see the glory. People can see what we represented and what we stood for. Because it's nothing now. It's nothing.
I mean, Ben, Sean, I'll go to you. Our motto is to dare is to do. Bill Nicholson wanted to play a striker. He went out and bought Jimmy Greaves. Bill Nicholson needed a player. He went out and got, I think, Martin Shivers and Dave Mackay. Keith Birkinshaw wanted two players. We went out and got Ozzy and Ricky Villa. Graf Cook, Steve Archibald. Do you know, Tottenham have lost their way. Surely even you put the blame at Levy. That they've
even
lost.
You.
Sorry, I didn't mean it in a nasty way. I'm sorry. I was trying to be nasty. I wasn't trying to be nasty. Sorry,
He's
Sean.
trying to be nasty. He's getting him.
Even you, with your how you see things, Sean. Even you got to put the full blame at Levy for them for trying to delete our past, our history.
I mean, I didn't think tonight was going to be just a, an hour and 90-minute, slagging off match of Daniel Levy. I thought that wasn't the plan. But I don't think we're as bad as you guys. Like you guys.
No, I'm on about our history, not about Levy now. What he's done good. I'm on about our history.
Yeah.
You got to Levy and Enoch have deleted our history. No statues of Bill Nick, Jimmy Greig.
Isn't that a religious thing about idol worship? Isn't that a
Listen.
Sean, what are you on about?
One thing I've got to say here. No, Sean, I'm coming in. I'm actually going to back Sean up here because that with Jewish people, there is a thing with that. There is, but don't get me wrong, but you can't have that aspect and play that card, but then be at a game every single Saturday when it should be a Shabbat and you shouldn't be watching. You shouldn't even be at the ground.
Okay.
You can't. I can see, Sean, what you said with Jewish people and. You can't bow down to statues.
That's the reason. That is the articulated reason as to why they don't have statues, right?
Yeah,
I'm all for statues.
But then they sell pork.
But that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
They sell pork at everything. They sell milk.
They won't have a kosher. Ben's mum can't go to the games because there's no kosher food.
Yeah.
In the ground, so you can't have it.
Well, she can go to the game. She just can't. She can't eat at the game, right?
It's now an 8-hour day. It's now an 8-hour day because that's how long it takes to get there now. Because it's no.
Yeah, but then. Yeah. Okay. But then you look at it.
I agree with you on that. I agree with that.
So not only that, like I said, he shouldn't be at any single game on a Saturday. He shouldn't be at the training ground or anywhere on a Friday night. He should leave early. He should be there till whatever. He shouldn't be at games every single Saturday. You can't pick and choose.
That's fine.
We do that a lot in Judaism, though, Brian. We do actually do.
Yeah, but mate, you know what? If I find out why that's the reason, I swear to God, I'm not going to say what I'm about to say.
Listen, maybe that's why he wants to send the Europa League, Brian, because he wants to go to games on Sunday.
Yeah, come on, Ben. Let Sean finish. Ben, let Sean finish. Come on, fair's fair. Let Sean have a say.
So I don't have an opinion on this particular point. Like I agree with Ben about the kosher meal thing. Like it seems silly to have a Jewish fan base and to not provide the segment of that particular part of the fan base who requires kosher food. It seems really idiotic to not have it. I've got no issue. I'm not even going to challenge it. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, but
that should be fixed. And I'm going to come to it, mate. And then as far as the statues go, look, if the justification is idol worship and they don't want to do that in part of the Jewish community, if that's their reason, I don't understand it because we worship idols on the pitch. We worship Harry Kane. So, and to Daigle's point, to Brian's point, if you're going to put religious practices at the forefront of your decision making, then we shouldn't be playing on Saturdays. I get the hypocrisy of the decision. I don't understand it either. I don't understand what the rationale for not having statues is. Like, if anything, it's going to draw more people to the stadium and therefore they're going to get more money. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't have a problem. I don't think they're like erasing history, Dermot. I think it's I don't understand it. I don't think it's going to be because of the cost of putting a statue up in bronze or whatever is going to be so extortionate that that's the justification. I don't understand it. I'm not particularly religious, so I don't know if it's religion. I
wasn't even going down the religion road. I just want to know why, as a club like ours, we can't celebrate our past glories, our double
with statues. I don't know the
answer.
answer.
No, not even with statues. I'm not going down the religious route.
Just a bloody picture of him. Just a picture of him in every side of the stadium.
I never was going down a religious view. I'm going down from a football fan view.
Okay.
Of why we can't celebrate our past.
I don't know the answer.
And why as a club we shouldn't celebrate our past. Like when White Hart Lane closed, some of the players they brought out. Where was Steve Perryman at the finale for White Hart Lane? Where was Steve Perryman? Where was players like that? We should do more to help our former greats. Levy and Enoch have antagonised every former player within that cares about the club. They won't come. And it's not about statues, it's about us remembering what we were, who we were. what the club
Isn't
stood
there
for.
isn't there the Steve Perryman Lounge in the stadium?
It was in the old stadium. I don't know if it was the Steve Perryman Lounge or whatever, but they closed the lounge down to make more seats available.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a few lounges in the private
So
equity
there's lounges,
boxes
there's lounges, but they closed one. They closed
after
one of them.
players. Yeah.
They closed one of the lounges. I don't know if it's Gary Mabbutt or it's Steve Perryman, but there was a lounge in their name, which has been closed to facilitate more seating.
But there are other ones that still exist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So look, listen. This is not this particular thing. I mean, none of this is a hill that I want to die on. None of it is.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
this particular point, I have no particular argument for. Like, if you guys, if you want statues, if you want lounges, if you want plaques on the wall, I'm all for it. I don't know why they don't have it. It doesn't make sense to me. But I don't, I don't know what to say.
I'd like to make a
I'll
point.
go to you now, Ben.
A load of the comments are going on because we brought up the Jewish thing in terms of many things.
That wasn't my intention.
No, it's not
My
your intention. But I'm gonna elaborate on that thing. I don't think it is a suggestion because again, Man United have Jewish owners. They've got statues outside the stadium. Chelsea are owned by Abramovich, who's a Jewish guy. Has pictures of the Jewish guys that died in the Holocaust on the outside of the stadium. Was made by a friend of mine. He's an absolutely lovely guy, Mr. Solomon Sousa. Arsenal don't have.
He's
Jewish
not
owners.
Jewish with a name like that. Solomon Sousa. Jesus Christ.
He's a Jewish boy. He went to King Solomon. So, yeah, I know him. You're above me.
Lived on Jerusalem Lane.
No, but he lives in that part of the world now. So, that helps. So, Arsenal's not owned by a Jewish guy. So, that we throw that out. But if we're going on this route, and Aaron picked up that all the Jewish people are now evenly distributed amongst the clubs. If we're going to do this, why are we still calling ourselves the Yids? If we don't want to bring this thing, we shouldn't call ourselves the Yids anymore. But Tottenham fans get so annoyed that people say, oh, maybe we shouldn't call ourselves Yids anymore. But then say, oh, but the Jewish question doesn't matter. So does it matter or does it not matter? Because for me, it does matter because it's part of my cultural identity of being a Jewish guy supporting Tottenham. It's part of my cultural identity of Tottenham being a very Jewish area for many, many years. So you can't, again, I'm going to pick up one of Sean's quotes again. You cannot run with the foxes and hunt with the hounds. Are we a Jewish club?
I love that one.
Or are we not a Jewish club? Because if we are a Jewish club, we can, okay, statues not allowed. But then we can say, so it's not a Jewish thing because...
It seems like a cop-out.
Yeah, it's not a Jewish thing because the Glazers have statues. Abramovich has the pictures of the Jewish guys in the Holocaust, so it's not a Jewish thing at all. We shouldn't have brought that up. So
no, it wasn't. Sorry, it was me that brought it up. It was the question was why don't we celebrate history? And I thought I thought the argument was I thought the conversation had gone down the path of we don't have statues, and the reason I believe let me just finish my point, Dermot. I believed that I genuinely do believe that the justification for not having statues is because of the Jewish tradition of idol worship being something.
But then why does he sell pork in the stadium?
No, I know.
I'm
not defending it. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that's the reason. I don't care either way.
Sean, I'm going to come in here and just say Sean has been completely misunderstood here.
Yeah,
completely misunderstood. He has been completely misunderstood.
Yeah.
He was saying maybe that could be the reason.
Yeah,
when I said Sean, I said no, it can't be.
Yeah.
It may be, but then I came to say to Sean, I wasn't having a go at Sean. I was saying to Sean, if that's the reason, then he's a bloody hypocrite because he's doing. Yeah. Sean's been completely misunderstood here. Sean meant it in the complete opposite way.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that, mate.
No worries, brother. No worries. Back to football.
Yeah,
Off religion.
No, I wasn't trying to go down. I was just on about our history. I never was trying to go down the religion route. It was just about why is Levy not celebrate their history? That was the question. And Bill Nick celebrate the greats of Bill Nick and Dave Mackay and that. So I never was going anywhere near religion. So I'll park that subject because that's just getting too out of hand now. So I'll park that for another day. I'll start with you, Ben, and then I go from Colin, then you, Coover. Ben, what do the fans have to do now to keep this going after the transfer windows? Do we have to start protesting in the stadiums now, shouting Levy out? do we have to stop buying stuff at shops and completely starve them of all financial markets completely? Surely that we've got Brian and his group that are doing brilliantly, doing everything, and we're all behind Brian and all the Levy outs. Surely then when Levy and the Enoch realise, okay, something's up here. What do the fans that are sitting on the fence and don't want to go one way or the other? What do they have to do to get on board this bandwagon of getting Levy out of this club? And I'm sorry for calling it a bandwagon, but I couldn't think of a word to else call it.
Stop the tills ringing. If
Yeah.
they notice that their in-match revenue goes down by, let's say, 50% because half the fans are not buying stuff in the stadium and going to pubs in the area, they will notice. You can still have your season ticket, because if you get rid of your season ticket, you will never get it again. That is just a fact. There's 150,000 people. You will go to the back of 150,000 people. You will lose your ticket forever. I can't even get a ticket for my little nephew or for my sister-in-law or get another one. You can't get one. It's not physically possible anymore. So if you stop the tills ringing, stop buying you don't have to have the brand new Spurs shirt every season. You don't have to have the Spurs this and the Spurs that. You can still honour your club, but that's it. Stop the tills ringing. We won't be allowed banners in the stadium. Just forthright. If they see someone like Brian with a banner saying "Levy out," they would take the banner away from him. It's just we've got to stop the tills ringing, and that's the way they will notice. And it will help support the local area in the process. We've got to start supporting our local area. Since the new stadium is built, we've stopped going to our local shops like the Ocean Splendors, which is now Uncle Jim's Kebabbery, which is now some other name of a fucking fish and chip shop. I can never remember the name of it. We've got to go to the little sweet shop. We've got to go to the pubs. We've got to go to we've got to start supporting the local community. Chick King. Stop supporting the in-match turnstiles and start supporting the local businesses. Put your money you'll spend in the stadium towards them, because they need it a lot more than Tottenham Hotspur does, because they're on their arses with COVID, with a lot of the recession that's been happening. They need our help. Start supporting your local businesses.
Good. Colin, what do fans need? What do the fans that are not on the Levy out stance and the fans that, what do their fans have to do? Do they, do all have to stand together, brother and sister, shoulder to shoulder?
We absolutely all do have to stand together. I wonder, and this is just like kind of me thinking out loud. Do you think in stadium, protests and walkouts and stuff, will that affect team performance? Do you think negatively?
It shouldn't, because they're professionals earning shit tons of money.
And they should be watching the pitch, not the crowd.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I just feel like with this season, where teams around us are dropping points like crazy, it would suck to do something that would, I guess, negatively impact our form. But I do agree, things need to happen, and walkouts are the way to. I mean, that's definitely going to get the attention. I mean, it'll be seen on the TV cameras. It'll be seen. So a walkout. I mean, a walkout and walkouts, I think, are a good idea, and they've worked for teams in the past. It's tough. It's really tough to say. I have a hard time believing that Levy is going to go anywhere. But we've seen other teams persuade through these types of actions their owners to spend and to open their wallets and to get them performing and where they need to be in and amongst the top teams. And I'm talking about West Ham, even Arsenal. I've been spending more, and so I think it's definitely possible. But I just struggle to see a world where Daniel Levy steps down from that salary. I don't know. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to see it. And so I think the best that we can hope for is to get them to spend but I don't really know how to accomplish that, I guess.
Hoover?
Well, we've been doing this, haven't we? What do the fans need to do? The most important is remember at the end of the day, we are all Spurs fans. even when our opinions differ. We want the same things. So if you're finding yourself disagreeing with somebody quite ferociously, just think that they've got a different take on it. But at the end of the day, the goal's going to be the same thing. We want to have a club that's winning trophies, playing good football. We want to enjoy it. Now, the thing is, so many of us now have got a lot of ammunition against Levy. 21 years of it, and we can point to all the systematic failure in that time, and then compare it to the period before Levy. And it was better before Levy. Compare the 21 years before that, multiple trophies, multiple FA Cups, League Cup, UEFA Cup. The contrast is black and white. And to be so dismissive of this fantastic movement that Brian's bringing to the forefront, with a Levy out and actually getting out there outside of the ground day after day in freezing cold conditions, along with the people that are there supporting him. It's a small crew, but it's a fiercely loyal crew. And why are they doing that? Are they doing that for their own personal gain in some way? Is it just them being selfish? No. They're doing it because for all of us, it's for all of our benefit. Because their belief, and the growing belief among so many of us now, is that Levy is bad for our club. We want our club to be great. We don't see it happening under this man. People are now going to the extreme lengths of boycotting outside the ground because of this. The movement online is the key bit. I mean, you may see just a few people out there holding the banners up in the freezing cold, but that gets noticed. How many people with mobile phones go past? How many people just log on and see a picture of Brian Daigle pop up on Twitter? You see the words Enoch out. You see back Conte. It carries. It really does reach people. We've got to embrace that. If you're not sure, just think about why these people are doing this for us. Because it's not about them getting something. What is Brian going to get by going out in that sort of temperature, apart from a few corns on his feet, frozen toes, and getting completely shattered at the end of the day? He's doing it because he loves the club. It's not some crazed madman. He's just passionate.
He's sometimes like that, though. If you put an espresso in him, he's like that.
Provocation, mate.
Yeah. Can I just quickly say, Keith, sorry, William, I won't put the link in the chat tonight because I don't think we'll be on much longer. I think Brian, we'll.
Oh, you got to get William Kelly on. I don't care how we do it, man. This guy's a legend.
I actually needed to hop off, so it could be like a 1-in, 1-out situation.
William, if you're on the Irish Hotspur fan group, could you link me there, and I'll put the link in that chat for you if you're on that. If you can let us know. I didn't want to put it in the chat tonight because I don't want everyone jumping on. We're trying.
Well, you just don't let anyone else on, Dermot.
Put it in the chat, mate. It'll be all right.
Okay, grand.
You just don't let anyone else on.
Yeah.
I've got that, mate. This guy is a legend.
He is.
And he's petrol for my fire. He's petrol to put on the fire for me.
I'm going to have my say in Levy. Everyone else has been brilliant tonight. I mean, you've all been excellent. I'm really enjoying the show. Just sitting back and listening to everyone doing they're brilliant. You're all legends. Levy, for me, is a parasite. He needs to go. 21 years, that man has ruined our club. He hasn't spent a damn back any manager properly. Enoch and Levy, all they care about is themselves. You know, as Cooper said to me once, when they came in, George Graham was in charge. Now, we all hated George Graham because of the obvious reasons, but that man made us into a cup winner again. Then you go through all the list of managers he's done. He got lucky with Poch, but again, he didn't back Poch. He didn't back Poch when we needed backing. We could have won at least 2 league titles if he had backed Poch when he should have done. Levy is an absolute idiot. I don't want him at the club. I don't want him anywhere near Tottenham. Tottenham Hotspur died. It's dead. There now is a franchise, and I want my club back. I don't care how we do it or what we got to do. We've got to go out with Brian and protest. When Brian's at Hotspur Way, go there, join him. Protest. we've got a protest outside the club. Every Saturday with Graham and who's all the lads that do that. We've got to stop buying stuff in the club shops. We've got to stop making Levy and Enoch even richer than what they are. We've got to send them a message. If we don't send them a message, they will stay there and they're going to bleed out. They're going to change our club for we won't recognise it. Genuine fans like me, Coover, Ben, Sean, Colin, the man next to Coover, who his name I've completely gone out of my head. It's we're genuine fans. We care about our club. And when's it going to stop? When is Levy going to get the message? We don't want him there anymore. We don't want him at our club. So please, for the love of God, that all that is mercy, do the honourable thing, lay down on your shield and fucking go. Just go. We don't care how you do it, what you do it, even if you have to fucking walk out. Walk out, just leave our club.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you
the club? But hang on,
before you ask that question, do you mind if I jump out because I'm going to fall asleep?
The club belongs to the fans. It doesn't belong to.
Shabbat shalom, Adonai.
See you later, Ben.
All right, Ben.
And I bring in William Kelly. Look at that for us.
There he is. There he is.
The club belongs to the fans. It's always belonged to the fans. Always.
How you doing, boys?
To the fans. How are you, William?
Will. How you doing, Will?
And it doesn't. It's not a franchise. It's a football club. And I said before, and I say it again. Keith Birkinshaw said 40 years ago there used to be a football club over there. By Jesus, he was dead on the money when he said that. And that's before we went onto the stock exchange. We're not a football club. We're a Levy Enoch entertainment venue club. And the sooner that parasite and that old age git goes, the better. Who we get in? That's in the laps of the gods. But if they make us successful and they get us winning trophies again and competing at the top and go back to where Tottenham Hotspur should be and has always been in the community and a fans club.
So I just want to come in because Luke has put this comment in. I really want to address this. So I'm going to put a few spoiler alerts in here now. Now, obviously, Graham's in the chat. Obviously, Graham, who is an absolute warrior with me. Warrior. So I know Aaron Dubbs is in the chat. Now Aaron Dubbs knows something. I told him when I was here last time, and we talked about those no banners. Now I said to Aaron, "Watch out! I'm going to let you into something." Because Aaron's like a brother to me. I speak to him all the time. I love that dude. And I said to him, "You watch." I can't remember what game it was. Aston Villa, Chelsea. It definitely weren't United. It was one of those two. And I said, "You watch. Levy out for getting banners in that stadium, and they will be over there." Or I told him where they'll be, and they were there. The banners have started to come in a bit more on We Are Tottenham TV on into the ground. I can let everyone know. I can't remember who said it in the chat. I can personally guarantee you that there will be a lot of banners stating Levy out in that ground for Brighton. Guaranteed that will be there for all to see. May not be in the same sections, probably better in their different sections. I don't know where everyone's sitting. I'm not even going to tell you where they're sitting if I did. I told Aaron, keep an eye out, and I'll send you the pictures. And true to my word, we did, and I did. There will be banners by the few, or I say the few, by a good amount during the game. Now, when it comes to when the original question was, how do we get what can we do? So obviously, I'm not going to talk about the training ground protest because obviously that's in full effect. I want to talk after. We said for the protest before home games, we are stopping for the month of January. And the reason we stopped for the month of January, and we weren't even going to protest outside the training ground, was because we wanted to Nick, Barry, Sean, Arthur, Grant. What we wanted to do is say we're going to give them the month. So rather than saying leave you out, we're going to give them this month to show that this is the change. This is going to happen. And then obviously as this develops, and it wasn't. We're like, no, we're not messing around anymore. So the training ground is all well and good. We weren't going to protest outside the club shop as well, because with Chelsea coming and the filth meant to be coming, you saw what happened at West Ham at home. It was carnage. It was absolute carnage. And with those two teams coming into town, it would have been a bloodbath, which is not what we want. We do not want a bloodbath. We do not want aggro. We do not want grief. But with those two teams, there would have been trouble all around it, and the protest would have been drowned out. I can confirm from the Brighton game and every single home game thereafter, once I'm gone, the boys and Rachel and the girls are in there as well will take over, and we will be there. Now, if you look at that stadium, it's 65. Let's say 63,000. Let's just say you take out the away section and the corporate and where Levy sits and everything. Let's just say after you take that section out, there's 55,000 people that are Spurs fans, which is a fair number to say if you take, I don't know the exact amount of away fans get, so there's 55,000. If 10% of those people, and there's more than 10% in that ground that are Levy out, that's 5,500 people. That's a lot of people. But even if you want to be more realistic to think who's coming in and say 10% of that 10%, that's 550 people. 550 people outside that club shop makes a racket, makes a whole different ball game. That's all you need to do. Stand with us. I can understand beforehand. Nick was at one of the protests with me, and I can see Aaron's already confirmed that everything I said happened. If you start, I can understand to begin with, because we seem to get this reputation that we were being anti-Semitic, even though I'm Jewish and a lot of the people were Jewish. We got told that we were getting drunk and causing aggravation. I'm a 14-year-old recovering that 14-year recovering alcoholic, and a lot of the guys don't drink. Weren't us. We've been violent. We've been in trouble with the police. The police have come and sat with us for 20 minutes and talked about us, and we've had Sheffield United fans, Newcastle fans, Everton fans, Arsenal fans. The police have been golden with us because we haven't caused any issues. So those protests will be back every single home game. In the ground, the tension will be rising. Obviously, we want to support the lads. We all want to support the lads. Whether you Levy in or Levy out, we all want a successful Tottenham Hotspur. We just think there's different ways of getting there. And more people are coming on to the aspect where I'm from, where Levy out is. There will be chants during the game. Lucas said about walking out on the 21st minute now, and for 21 years of Levy. Now, there's been so many talks. Trying to get someone to walk out 21 minutes into a game is very, very hard. Very, very hard, because you've just got in there. Trying to get them to walk out 20 minutes before the game ends is a different question. We've also thought about 61 for obvious reasons, the double. There's been other moments where if there's a mass walkout, but the thing is, when you do a mass walkout, it needs to be massed. And it needs to be massed. And when I say needs to be, not just pocket here, pocket there. If like a whole section or a part of a stat, the cameras go to it immediately. Look, there's a walkout. Like with Liverpool when they had the away tickets and they're like, no, not touching this. And they all walked out. And within seconds, we're not doing those prices. We're not going to do it. Now, there are talks as well, because Levy out will be chanted at games. Maybe not the whole game, but it will be heard. What we can do is obviously, as you saw with Everton and Birmingham, protesting after the game, where the Levy out people in this instance stay in, gets a lot more attention because the hardcore are staying in and they're ready to do it, rather than trying to get pockets of a 62,000 stadium to try and cause a commotion. So rest assured, there are lots and lots of plans, and obviously going back to don't spend it. We've all said don't spend in the pub. I mean, in the stadium. Listen, you go in and you have a beer. I get that. Or if you've got children, get what I'm saying. If your children need to eat and your children are hungry, or your children need a drink, go get your children a drink. Just don't go in. I know there's a whole camaraderie that they have now, sitting waiting for the game. There's all singing. I get all that. Just stop spending all your bloody money there. Go into a pub and spend it. Listen. You're totally entitled to do what you want to do, but if you're Levy out and you're chanting it and you're really believing it, but then you go and you get 10 pints in the stadium and chicken and chips or noodles or whatever the fuck they're selling in that place, you're defeating the purpose. You're defeating the purpose, because I swear to God, if the tills are down by 10%, even 10%, they're like, what the hell? If when it comes to the merchandise, Nike are our kit manufacturers, but Nike have expectations of what Spurs need to be doing well to sell the amount of kit, to sell the amount of tracksuits, to sell the amount of whatever merchandise it is. You stop buying in the club shop, Nike will be like, well, wait a minute, what is going on here? We have had a huge decrease in turnover. What's your answer to this? Nike will come calling. Go spend in JJB Sports or any other sporting place that there is. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Spurs do get a percentage of that taken, but it won't be as much as it is from the club shop. If that's what you need to do and you believe it, then you need to not only just say, right, I'm leaving out, but I'm going to go spend 10 beers and whatever in the pub, in the restaurant or in the stadium. The only way, as King Arthur says, stop the tills from ringing. Stop the tills from ringing, and they answer. But just rest assured, as I say, stand on me. There will be banners in that stadium. There will be protests going on within the game. There may be protests after the game, but things are changing in that stadium. And come and join us outside the stadium. Just remember, 10% of 10% is huge.
Well,
Look what it is, bloody hell.
We've woken up Hollywood Phil.
I just want to welcome a few people in. I want to welcome William Kelly. William.
Hi, Dermot.
How are you?
Not too bad. I'm just at work, so I'm not going to stay on very long. I just wanted to pop on, and I just wanted to say, Mr. Daigle, you are like a modern Daniel O'Connell to me. Now, for someone that doesn't know Daniel O'Connell, there's a massive statue on O'Connell Street in Dublin, and his idea of protest was to get Irish independence was through peaceful protest. And he's one of our great heroes, and you're exactly like him. What you've done is you've taken it on board yourself and you've just ran with it. And everybody else is starting to come on board now. It's taken a long time. Like I said to Kuva and Dermot on the last show I was on, I mean, my perception of Ennick and Levy changed after what they did to Martin Jol. I could never... Same as me. I could never accept that. I loved Martin Jol. I thought he was all about Tottenham. He was a gentleman, and what they did to him was just outrageous and scandalous, to be quite honest with you. He did not deserve that. But just keep it up, mate. Keep it going. I wish I could be there. I really do wish I could be there, but I'll be there in spirit. I'm going to set up a Twitter account, and I'm going to tweet everything that you do, even though I don't know how to bloody use it, but I'll do my best. But whatever it takes. I do honestly believe that Joe Lewis wants out of this club, but Levy is going to be the hard one to get rid of. It wouldn't surprise me if we get an announcement after the transfer window that there's a different investment company coming into this club. But I do believe in 3 to 4 years that Levy will be gone. And with the help of God, Conte will still be here. So it's the only way I can see it happening. We're not going to get rid of Levy straight away. He's not going to go. He's stubborn as fuck, man. You're not going to get rid of him. It'll take time. But, I mean, something has to change. Something has to change. We can't continue like this.
William, I just have, obviously, for people that don't, I'm just going to quickly go. William, it's people like William that give me the petrol to go put on a fire, because, I mean, first of all, William, I've got a big guy in this chat, Graham, who is with me everywhere. He is with me everywhere. And there's obviously the Levy out people that I'm with that deserve the credit as well. Obviously, I have this platform, but I've had this is the first time I've been on a stream with William. I've seen him on streams. I actually only recently seen him on streams, but I've always seen him in the chats. And when I was over here last time, he was on he put a massive super chat in, and he was like, right, that's it. I can't remember it word for word, but it's like, I can't do this anymore. They've ruined the club. I can't do this anymore. I'm giving up. I'm not coming on channels anymore. I'm not coming on streams. And I immediately went on to Harris's show, and I was like, don't do this. Don't let this parasite do this to you, because you supported it long before they came, and you're supported long before they go. And when I hear people like William, who is all the way in Australia, and like me living in Canada, I mean, the time difference is a lot different, obviously, for William. But he gets up, I don't know if it gets up stupid o'clock in the morning or stays later. I can't stand it when I hear fans say that. Not because the fan is saying that, but this is what has happened to our club. And obviously, William, honestly, the words you say, I think you know just how much they mean to me. I always refer to it. And the words you've just said are just so mind-blowing to me. And I appreciate every goddamn word you said. And now, tomorrow, when Graham and I go to battle, trust me when I say you will be in my mind and you will be one step behind me, brother. Trust me.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And like I said, I actually was very close to just giving up on Spurs, to be honest with you, because I just couldn't take it anymore. It's streams like the Irish Hotspur and streams like this that have kept me going, because I realised that I'm not alone in wanting this guy out, you know?
Yep.
I'm not going to call him names and stuff because I'm you know, I always feel you're a better person than that, you know, but we will get rid of him. It's just going to take time, but we have to stand together. We have to be united as one. It's the only way you're going to get through this, is to stand together as one unit and take them down. That is the only way. Because if we're any way divided, he will use it against us. And they will try every trick in the book to make it out that we're doing something wrong, or we're being violent, or we're being anti-Semitic, or whatever. They will use every trick. But stand together and you will get through this.
He's definitely got people on the inside looking at what we're talking about, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, of course he does, Matt. And you better believe it, there's people watching this. And he has to know now that the tide has changed. There's a tidal wave, there's a tsunami heading his way. And he knows it. And that's why he ran away to Barbados, because it's changing. And and I reckon Lewis called him over there to say, I want out. I want gone. You need to find another investor. And it would not surprise me. Honestly, it would not surprise me. As soon as this transfer window closes, they announce another investor coming in to alongside Levy. Now, I hope and pray that someone that's going to be about this club, because they certainly have not been.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
But look, good luck with everything. I love you loads. Keep safe.
Back at you.
And you can do this. Trust me.
We will try. We will try. Like I've always said, I will die trying. I will die trying.
Just don't die. Just don't die. Don't die.
Yeah,
Trust me.
I
You don't need to do that.
if I do, then at least I can haunt the bastard.
Yeah. Don't die, man.
See you later.
You want to enjoy the good years that are coming after this.
True. Very true, buddy.
I mean, I was on the Irish Hotspur. I actually went to I don't know if you've seen that show, but I went to a psychic lady that does the tarot cards. Now, I know a lot of people don't believe in that and whatnot, but she did tell me that 3 to 4 years, the owners are gone, and Conte will still be here. He'll still be our manager.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Let's hope the second part of that is correct.
Said, I asked her, I said to her, which was quite funny, I went, we haven't won anything in 21, and before I even got the one out, she went 22. So literally saying that we're not winning anything this year. But she did say 23. So what I gather from this, something has to change, and that's why I feel like there's going to be a different investor coming in, and then I feel like it's either in 3 or 4 years then Levy will leave, but Conte has
Still
to be
too
back.
long.
So if there is a new investor that comes in, I just feel they're the ones that are going to back Conte, that will keep him here, and we'll start winning things. Which, let's be honest, boys, we deserve that.
Yeah.
This can't
Correct.
continue not winning anything. This is so poor for a club like Tottenham. I mean, like I remember 91 when we won the FA Cup. That's 31 years ago, for fuck's sake. That's disgraceful. We haven't even been in a final.
Yep.
You know? I can remember every game we played, every goal we scored on the way to that final. You know, it's just, we don't deserve this. We just do not deserve this.
Damn right.
Anyway, boys, I have to go. I have to get back to work.
It's been a pleasure, brother.
I love you loads. Mr. Daigle, look after yourself, and thank you for giving me the time to come on again, boys. I appreciate it.
Take care, William.
It was a pleasure, William. Always a pleasure.
Lots of love, boys. See you later.
Lots
Bye.
of love back
See
to
you
you,
later.
brother.
See you later.
Right, we also have to welcome Barry. Belated
Yeah.
welcome to Barry. Sorry, as you can see, mate, it's been pretty talkative on here tonight. Before we get to Barry, I was just going to say to Sean.
I'm off.
Oh, you're off. You're okay. I was going to say it was probably dragging on a bit for you, mate.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, do your,
He started slipping down that. He started slipping down that
Yeah.
chair like he's
I was
sleeping.
going to say have a think about a subject to get onto in a minute. But,
no, it's all good.
I'm just
Hey
getting on a
Barry,
bit.
nice to meet you, buddy. I've seen you on your YouTube. It's nice to say hello. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your rest of your evening. Brian, keep doing what you're doing. Hollywood Phil, good to see you, mate. See you, Dermot. See you.
Cheers, Sean, brother.
See you
Take
later.
care,
Take
mate.
care,
See you later, buddy.
Right, Barry, what's your take? I don't know how long you've been listening into the conversation tonight.
What's my take on what? Sorry, Cuba.
I don't know how long you've been listening into the conversations and we've had tonight on the show so far. I was going to say, you have free reign, start off with anything you like.
I've just got to say one thing before he talks. Before I forget the joke, Phil, are you sure you're not going to be logged into your OnlyFans in that pose?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Is it the wrong stream you've come onto?
No, I'm in the right stream, definitely.
No, Cuba, just yeah. I mean, I've been watching from the start. So I was watching you guys this morning, which was the first time, and then obviously now I've come and join you on. So thank you for having me. So yeah, obviously just in the midst of COVID, day 2 of isolation, Levy has decided to hijack my PCR, so that I can't be there on Monday. So yeah, just enjoy, like Mr. K was saying earlier, just enjoying listening to you guys and obviously listening to Brian as usual, and finding out what you guys watching the game this morning was fantastic, because we'd love to get back to those days. I mean, obviously not Glenn Hoddle being in goal, but we want to get back to those glory days, and yeah, at the moment it's just a shambles, really. So nothing really else to say.
Should we start off with the most current thing of the lot? Transfer window. Do you see us getting anybody in worthwhile?
Guys, so sorry, I'm now going to have to jet because my father's going to bed, and it's now it's lights out like in prison time. But no, it's very luxurious. It's a very luxurious prison, trust me. But yeah, I made a pact with them that because I get animated, so and also I need to get up in 7 hours to get ready to meet Ryan to go to the training ground. So Nick, Barry, Sean, Phil, Grant, Nigel, Arthur, Nick, I'll see you later on. Phil, my man, we will chat very, very soon properly. We haven't been able to chat for a while. Kuva, always a pleasure. Dermot,
big
you're a
up
superstar,
to your
my man.
support. Big up, Brian, to your support for everything, man. It just, there's nothing better than seeing you outside the ground, retweeting everything that you post is just
cheers, brother.
Immense, because we're a shambles. We're an absolute shambles, and the better the message that you give is, the better that it is for all of us.
Thank you very much, guys. And to everyone in the chat, thank you for your support. Thank you for following this channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to it. If you get a chance, Tottenham on Tour for all exclusive training ground and protest content if you're not already subscribed. But the most important thing is you give these guys a like, and Shelfside Spurs, because they're a great upcoming channel as well. But I would bid everyone a good night, or should I say good morning. It's day 29. Have we signed anyone yet? Levy out.
So yeah,
Just
Cooper,
check the WhatsApp. Sorry.
going to the transfers. Well, what transfers is probably the initial thing, and then again the smoke and mirrors and absolute rubbish that we're getting now in terms of someone else. The 18-year-old or whatever it is from Hull City that was ripping the mick out of Harry Kane as signed or on loan or whatever deal. I mean, it's kind of got to the point where I'm not really interested. I just want the next couple of days to kind of get to Monday, and then Monday we're full throttle. So, Aaron, brilliant. So yeah, let's just get to Monday, because what's realistically going to happen the next couple of days? Probably not a lot. And then Monday's the day where we really fire up everything and support Brian and everything that everyone's doing at the training ground and retweeting everything and everything else. And then
he talked about, didn't he, 3 in, 3 out this week. It's like I can see that netting off at 0. So just quit with what you got. Delhi, no. Tanguy, no. Lo Celso, no. Anyone in? No. Or certainly no one that we want.
Yeah, well, Lo Celso's gone to Lyon apparently, so on loan. Although they're only paying half the wages. So for all those Levy-inners who say that he's a good businessman, I don't really understand what we're gaining from that, unless it's going to allow someone to come in. But yeah, we've had, obviously, Clark's gone out on loan, Niall John's gone out, Lo Celso's gone out. So there's 3 that have gone out, but I don't understand the 3 that are coming in. Well, one could be counted as Hugo. I'm sure they're counting one as Hugo. So then there's 2 to do. So that's obviously the young lad from wherever he's come on, the non-league guy, that's 1. And then, I don't know, Ethel the tea lady. I don't know who the third and final one will be. So
at the moment, I take Ethel. She might be able to do a job up front.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what you mean now. Yeah, I know what you mean, Barry. It's really deflating at the moment, isn't it? We're just waiting for something worthwhile to happen at the club. Do you see Conte actually walking if things carry on in this sort of vein, or do you think?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Will's predictions from the tarot readings correct, with Conte still being here and winning a trophy in 2023. But yeah, I called on our show last night. I called it that Liverpool would come in with a bid and Nick Diaz, and that happened this morning.
Yeah.
And I said 3 weeks ago that Conte would go on the 1st of Feb. So thank you, Mark. Look, I want to be wrong. I don't see how he stays if we don't. I mean, we're not going to sign anyone that we need. I mean, we're like Brian was saying earlier, we're just shooting like fish in a barrel and seeing if something comes off. We don't need someone on the left side. We don't need, we all know what we need. We need a centre back, a right wing back, a box to box midfielder, and a striker at minimal. And then we need to go on to the stage of a goalkeeper to replace Hugo, because I didn't think that he was going to sign a contract, and maybe he's sitting there thinking, Christ, what have I done signing that two year extension after seeing that, and then we've got the talk of like
Probably,
Brian was saying
probably
about
7.5 million a year. He's thinking, do you know what? Why the frig not?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
15.
exactly.
It's 15 million for 2 years. I can't do any worse than this shower shit.
Yeah, he's not going to get that in Nice or whatever. Okay, he's going to go. You know, he can still go probably to the MLS or do whatever afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I think if we look at signings, we've been very fortunate to have someone like Hugo in the club for so long, considering he's won the World Cup, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and we've not repaid him, and we've not repaid Kane. Kane's going to sit there at the end. I don't know what he's thinking. He's, City must be rubbing their hands together, thinking, "Christ, we can come in with an £80 million bid in the summer, and we'll probably, Tottenham will probably accept it." So, I don't. Everyone else is doing business and doing it early, offering the money. We've said, we've said before, Digne. All right, Martial. We probably didn't want someone like him with his attitude at the club, but an option. Lingard, players that are ready and players that could make a difference, and we've just fallen by the wayside again, and just an absolute embarrassment. And we've turned into, the amount of WhatsApp groups that I'm on and the amount of abuse that I'm getting. We've turned into that banter club.
I know what you're saying. I belong to about 4 or 5 now, and every single one is like, Levy is the scourge of society. What the hell are you doing to our club? And do you know what? I don't doubt that he's probably trying his best, but if his best is not good enough for everyone, then it tells you that you're not right. I imagine myself, would I sign for Tottenham tomorrow as a striker all day long? Would I be a good enough backup to Harry Kane? No. So you wouldn't employ me. And it feels the same with Levy. His time is more than enough now. It's like, get someone in who's going to do the job, because most of our transfers look like they're last minute penny pinching. It just there's just nothing happening. Lewis, what's his name, Diaz. It's like suddenly we bid for him. We want to keep it quiet, but we didn't give Porto an offer that they couldn't refuse. It was like they gave us the bare minimum. And what happens now? Now he's off to Liverpool, so we end up with second-rate people, trying to do whatever we can for the club, and it's nowhere near good enough.
I think if I'm honest, I think we've maybe dodged a bullet with Adama Traore. I don't think he was,
No.
I think we. But the point is, if we'd gone on January the 1st, here's 25 million, he would have signed. If we'd gone to Porto and gone, here's the 60 million that you want, however that's made up, like Liverpool did, who knows? They probably would have said, "Yep, that's fine." And maybe we have been played. Maybe it's because of what's happened before with Levy, and everyone knows how he likes to do business, and they've used that as an advantage. And Liverpool may not have come in for Diaz, but because we're not even offering the asking price, we're allowing ourselves to then be gazumped and everything else. And I saw that tweet with the guy from on the non-league kid, and they said, "Oh, we'll probably get gazumped by Worthing Town." That's how laughable it's become, because we're just not doing what we should be doing. People.
Do you know what? But the last game we went to.
Sorry, Phil. Can I just say quickly? Colin Talking Ball is going on after us, so please, everyone that's watching this, get over to Colin Talking Balls. He just WhatsApped me to get him a plug. So please, everyone, go over there after we finished here, and please show him some love. He was on our show, so everyone, once we finished here, head over there. And please get over to Colin Talking Ball. It's a great channel. Please like and subscribe to his channel. Sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when Ellie and I we met up at the last home game, I think it was Norwich, and Graham Roberts was doing a talk in the Spurs shop, and he was like, why are we buying all these youth players? We have a youth academy. And you're like, do you know what? It makes a lot of sense. We've got all these people that are in our youth academy that we're planning to be the future of the club, and what are we doing? We're letting them walk out. Look, who was it this week? Dylan McCandy. Scored goals like second to none. So what we're doing is we're replacing the likes of him, whoever this, I can't even remember who the guy is now, but the Guna guy that we've been linked with, and it's like, yep, we've made an offer, but he's not going to play backup to Harry Kane this season. And what do we need? We need some backup to Harry Kane or someone who can play alongside him. So it's like the whole philosophy of the club just seems broken or, inept.
Yeah, and that comes back to the scouting. It comes back to the development of the youth players. So, what have we done with Scarlett? Nothing. We've thrown him into a team where he's not going to excel because he's got Dele Alli and Ndombele trying to not giving a shit and basically not giving him the service. Same with Kane. They're not giving it when they're not giving him the service. He's not scoring. He's got to go deep and get the ball. But Markande again, he's gone. Tanganga, when he first broke in, he looked like he was going to be an enigma, but we've not managed him correctly. He needs to go out on loan and get that big game experience. You can't not play him and then chuck him in against Chelsea and then go, oh well, I can't believe Tanganga's not playing well. Well, he's not. he's young and he hasn't got the experience. He's not going to, and that just goes to show the bare bones of where we are. We don't have the squad that can come in and do it. Okay, we've got lucky with, Dyer and Winks and Davis, but that's not the answer. We need backups. We need we need competition. We need, people to fight. And, Sonny now apparently is out till the middle of February. So, I just
I don't doubt our first 11 is a match for the majority of squads, but that first 11 aren't fit for all 52 games of the season by the time you've included League Cup, European Cup, etc. So then it goes back to the second, and you look at even down as far as Man United, Man City, Liverpool second, they would still give our first 11 a run for their money, and that's where the problem lies. And until that Pratt Levy thinks about it and works it out, we're forever peeing in the wind.
Definitely.
I think that's to Levy goes. Nothing's ever going to change, and
that's. Do you know what, Dermot? You're absolutely spot on. It's like leopards don't change their spots, and the good sign of madness is doing the same thing you've always done and expecting a different result. And this is what we class as a top businessman. And businessman for the finances of everything else, but when it comes to the football club, absolutely a million miles away. Absolutely a million miles away.
Better. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet probably run our club better than Daniel Levy on the football side. Saying that. Yeah. Go on, Phil. Plug your show tomorrow night, your Saturday night show. You do the coup with your madness. Go on, give that. And then I go to Barry and let him plug.
That's it. You just done it, I think. Tomorrow night, madness on this channel.
I have nothing.
11 o'clock. Cuba will be leading. We'll be good to go, and
I have nothing to do with this show. This has nothing to do with me. It's totally a separate show on this channel that has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Because
anything goes. It doesn't even have to be football tomorrow night. It's just whatever.
It's just
relax, chill out.
We'll put the link in. You come and join us, and you just talk anything you want to talk about. If it's Tottenham related, what a bonus. If it's not, who cares?
We have Alexander Hilton on making R2D2 and C3PO noises.
Who just incidentally has already posted into the chat 3 days early. So R2, we're expecting you, but I will be there at some point. Cuba will be there at 11 o'clock. We will see what happens.
And we're home of the steak song.
Well, me and Ben are going to sing that at the Tottenham Stadium. That's what we're going to do. We're going to try to get that chant going, me and Ben, when I go on the 13th. So, Phil, you need to teach me in the background this steak song.
So, we're the stateside. We're the stateside. We're the stateside Tottenham. That's all it started.
Big up Cody Mack and big up Paul Brown. Barry,
lovely to see it.
Give your channel a massive plug. Go on.
So, guys, once again, thanks for having me on. It's been obviously where I've been stuck with COVID. It's given me more chances to see more shows and to this morning I joined for the first time, and obviously coming on tonight. So it's been an absolute honour. So you can catch me and the rest of the reprobates on Shelfside Spurs on Thursday night. This Thursday we have the only Mickey Hazard from 7:30. So yeah, hopefully you guys can tune in, give these guys a like and subscribe as well, because they do a fantastic job, and catch them in the morning. And obviously you can see some actual glory days of Tottenham Hotspur and some quality matches. So thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
I don't think we heard that quite well enough. Who's that you got on Thursday evening? At what time did you say?
That was Mickey Hazard on Thursday at 7:30.
So Mickey Hazard is on your channel, Shelfside Spurs, this Thursday at 7:30.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That sounds worth tuning in for, mate.
Yeah. So we're going to
Get
do,
over there.
obviously for those of you that haven't seen the show before, we normally do a quiz with Jens. So Jens will be doing a quiz against Mickey Hazard. So that'll be quite interesting.
Nice.
And then also when we've first been on the show, we do our White Hart Memory Lane, and we're going to do that with Mickey Hazard. So adapt it slightly. So favourite away ground, and first try and get some juicy information out of him. But we'll see if we can. So catch you all. Obviously, hopefully see you all there.
Yeah, definitely
Absolutely.
be watching that. We all will be. Big up, Catman.
Give us a reminder again before the before the show, just so we can give it a big up on the channel, because it's worth it.
So
it's a big deal getting the players on.
Yeah. So Mickey Hazard, the one, the only, as Alan would like me to say, because I cocked it up this morning. So the one, the only Mickey Hazard, 7:30 Thursday, Shelfside Spurs. So hopefully see you all there.
I was talking about before you go live on the Thursday. The Thursday morning, I'm going to try and I'll make it a note of it to give you a big up on the morning.
Thank you, mate.
Worth it.
Everyone, please get over to Shelfside Spurs, get your like, get you subscribe to them, and show them some love, because it's a brilliant channel. I've watched it once or twice. Absolutely love watching it. Barry, so
Once or twice. What a fan.
Cheers,
I'll
guys.
be watching it a lot more now. So thank you
People
very
have
much.
had COVID that often.
Yeah, that's true. Right, thank you all for watching tonight. It's been an absolute better of a show. Thanks to Kuba again for being my brilliant co-host. Absolutely top notch. Hollywood Phil's come on. I don't know, half pissed or half cut. We don't know. Either that or he's...
Come on, be fair. He gave me a lovely little kissy on the end of his text to me earlier.
He doesn't even message me. I'm just a nobody compared to, I know you two need to get a room, but there you go. What goes on behind closed doors stays behind closed doors, so we leave it there.
No, it comes out on the Friday night show, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. Listen, I don't know. Coover and Phil will be back tomorrow night at 11. I'm going to take a few days off, because I need a few days off. And then we'll be back on Monday at 11:30 with the morning show. And then me and Ben are on from, I think then we're going on to, we might be on Dave's channel for a little while, and then from 9 o'clock on here, me, Ben, and Mark Cousins, who'll be making his debut as a co-host on our channel, we'll be doing the countdown to the end of the transfer window from 9 o'clock to when it shuts. And by the end of it,
are you welcoming in the last 10 signatures of the mighty Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah. We're going to see if Tottenham do sign somebody, but we start at 9 and we'll be on to the transfer window finishes. So join us at 9 for that. I think Thursday, then we're doing the Bill Nick tribute show with myself, Phil, and Kuba. And all I've got to say is thank you very much for everyone who's joined us tonight. Please like and subscribe. Please, everyone, get over to Phil and Kuba's show tomorrow. And it's usually a blast, and it really is top blokes to do a channel with. I've got to say, love them both very much. They're both top-notch big men. And
I'll over to Colin at Talk and Ball to give him a little bit of support tonight as well.
Yeah, so I'll be watching it. I'm sure Kuva's going to hop on over. Phil's probably going to hop on over too. But thank you very much for watching. Let's all say it together. The one word. Levy.
Two. Levy out.
Levy.
out.
It's
Just
just one
Levy.
word. It's Levy.
Leave it.
Levy out. You never beat the Irish